shout out to all my students that made it on. Jasmine, I see you. My man Carlton, I see you. And shout out to everybody on the call. Thank y'all for hopping in here with Eric today. Y'all, first of all, before I dive into what I have, y'all are in good hands with Eric. Eric knows his stuff. Me and this guy have been connected for a little bit now, and I've actually brought him on my Zoom call. And I just want to thank you so much for opening this up for me. I don't know where all y'all are in your process. If you're just now starting, if you're, you already closing deals or whatever, you're in good hands. Eric is a good leader. This guy really knows his stuff. Again, he's been closing deals for a long time. As you can see, all those deals behind him. I'm blessed to know this dude. And I'm also really, really happy that we were able to connect.
Appreciate that.
So for the people who don't know me, I'm Tez Arbertha. I am based out of Oklahoma City, but I do deals any and everywhere, from Texas to Oklahoma, Tennessee, Kansas. And I also have coaching students throughout the US as well. I've been investing in real estate for about 4 years now. I've been in real estate for 7 years, and I got started by way of new home real estate. So I started out as a new home sales rep. I was selling new builds in a neighborhood here in Oklahoma. I scaled that as an employee, and I hated being a high-paid employee. No offense to anybody who, who's an employee right now, but it didn't work for me. So I started to search, wholesaling real estate. And after being let go from my job, because I was focusing on so much on wholesaling, so much on investing, they actually let me go from this 6-figure earning job. And that was like one of the biggest blows to my career, at least in retrospect, that I had experienced, right? So when I got let go from that job, 2 days later, I went to go lock up a wholesale deal for $19,000. That was a spread I made on that wholesale deal back in 2019. And after that happened, I made my mind up that I never worked for anybody, and I have not worked for anybody since 2019. And it's by way of real estate investing. Okay. So I started out wholesaling again. I had a six-figure income I was trying to replace. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I had a mortgage. I had, my lifestyle increased as my money increased from my job. Like a lot of us, a lot of us make that mistake. We go out, get a new car, new house, all that stuff. I heard a reference in construction back when I was working in new home construction, and it was new money, right? They always knew when somebody had new money because they always showed up with a new car, fresh suit, right? Just got a house, all these things. But really what it did was it made me very, very dependent on my job. Okay. It made me very dependent on the people to pay me, right? So as that happened, and as I worked more and more and more, right? And then I got let go from that job, all I had was this high expense column, right? And as soon as they took that job from me, I didn't have the money to provide anymore. I didn't have the money. So I was scared. My back was against the wall, and I had to make wholesale work. So after I got that $19,000 payday, I went on to do way more, right? That first year I only did about $378,000 in wholesale. It's nothing to frown upon, but I had employees. I probably only took home, about $80,000, right? The following year, we did just shy of 800,000. Me and a business partner, I partnered up with somebody. And then the year after that, which was 2021, we did 1.2 million in wholesale. And we also implemented fix and flip. All right. So this past year in 2022, in October 2022, I decided to coach and teach people how to wholesale houses. Now we're up to about 92 students. Just from October 2nd, we got people making money, getting deals, so on and so forth. So I went from just being an employee, not knowing anything about wholesaling, to wholesaling, graduating from wholesaling to do fix and flip, buy and hold. Now I'm coaching, and my long-term goal is to back into commercial. I really wanted to just not brag on myself, but let y'all know that Eric isn't just bringing anybody to you, right? He's bringing somebody who knows their stuff. And I got to tell you, my sphere of influence has grown so much by way of, partnering up with guys like Eric. I know now if I got a deal in Florida, I know who to call, right? So I'm down to partner up anywhere to do anything. That's just a brief introduction on who I am. So, Eric, I don't know what you got, or, really what you want me to cover today, but I did want to talk a lot about, how I've been able to scale so rapidly. So, Eric, if you have a question or anything you want me to kind of answer, bro, if not, I'll take the stage and I'll keep running with it.
We can keep it somewhat open. So if it's cool with you, if anybody has any questions, chime in at any time. If that's all right.
I love that.
Can we do the hand up situation? That way it's not a bunch of people just unmuting at once.
Yeah,
that makes sense, bro. I love it.
Good call.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you again. So that's pretty much my story. What I want to tell y'all though is like when trying to scale. Oh, okay, we got Jay Beach. Already got a question. Jay Beach, what's up, bro?
What's up, Tez? So when you talk on the phone, what's your pitch?
You said, what's my pitch?
Yes.
So you mean like a script? Now it depends on if I'm just cold calling. I'm just cold calling somebody. It's as simple as me just saying, "Hey, J Beach, how you doing, man? Do you own the property over at 123 Main Street?"
Yes.
Two things I'm doing within the first 2 seconds before I tell anybody what I'm with or what I'm doing. I'm verifying if I'm talking to the right person, and I'm also having them confirm their address. Most people either are going to hang up or talk to you after saying that. Now, most people are going to want to listen and hear what you have to say next because you just said their first and last name and you just said their property address.
Gotcha.
So, you know, when you ask those two things, if the person says, yes, yeah, who is this? Okay, now we can continue. And also, I'm not going to stop calling you until you sell me your house because I know this is your house and I'm talking to the right person. Right, we're gonna continue the conversation after that. After they confirm, yeah, Tez, who is this? Well, hey, Jay Beach, man, look, I don't mean to be calling you out of the blue. I just want to ask you, have you thought about selling your house?
Yes.
Have you ever thought about, or you know what you can throw in front of that? Hey, sorry to be calling you out of the blue. I work for a couple of investors that's buying houses in your area. Have you thought about selling your house? I never want to be the person that's the buyer. I don't want to be the big bad buyer. I don't want them to have to cuss me out and have an attitude with the if worst case, I can always blame it on the company I work for. Sorry, hey, I'm just working for the man making these calls, man. And most people, look, they got a job. They're going to say, I get it. Eric, I get it. I understand. I know what it's like. I hate my boss. I hate mine too, man. When can we set up a time for me to come by and see your house? I don't care. I just found I got common ground. I got the property owner's name. Look, dude, all those things. Jay Beach, I hope that helped you, bro.
That's good. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Jay Chris, what's up, man?
Tez, what's going on, buddy?
How you doing?
Good. You?
I'm doing good, man. What you got?
Awesome. So are you just in a wholesale game or you seller finance as well?
Oh, dude. I was Eric. I didn't respond to my guy, Eric. Eric, if y'all don't know Eric, bro, he's a closer, okay? And he sent me the link for the call tonight. And I was like 7 minutes past after he sent it. He's like, Tez, yo, I sent you that link, bro. What are you doing? I'm working on getting a subject to deal put together right now. So I do the seller finance, if that's what you're asking in terms of like, you know, subject to creative finance. Yo, what y'all are learning from Eric is going to be a lot different than the typical subject to stuff. He's going to save you money at closing. He's going to help you buy houses in a lot of ways, but I do everything that I can to monetize my opportunity in front of a seller, bro. I even got my real estate license in case they don't like my offer. I'll list it. I don't care. I got a menu for my sellers, man.
Do you do money out of pocket? Like, do you only do deals with no money down, or will you reach into your pocket and take some money down for a deal?
It depends. So, you know, there's ways you can set this stuff up, man. If you're going to do a subject to, I got a subject to I'm doing. It's a house that's been on the market for a little bit too long. It's a nice house in one of our nice areas. And as you know, interest rates rising is just slipping. So what's happening is I'm buying this house that is worth about $255,000. I'm buying it at, it's in great condition. I'm buying it at like $235,000. I'm paying the listing agent, and I'm also going to pay them a down payment. And the reason I'm able to do that is because I asked for 30-day close times on my subject twos, and I also asked for the ability to market their property to to a possible rent-to-own tenant or a seller, you know, owner finance tenant, however you want to frame that.
So all of that's in your contract.
That's all in my agreement. Yes.
Would you be willing to share that with us,
me
or
marketing
no?
it, on Facebook ain't nothing but a verbal. So no, that's not my contract.
Okay.
But a 30-day close is, Jay Chris. And what I'm doing with that time, just how we, you know, with a wholesale, you're looking to find a buyer in that time period. I'm looking for me a tenant buyer. I call them tenant buyers. I never tell a property owner I'm putting a renter in their house on my subject twos.
Okay.
I want them to be comfortable. And in that time window, what I'm doing, Jay Chris, is I'm shopping for somebody who has a down payment for an owner finance that's large enough to cover what they need to get out. And if I need more than that and it's going to cash flow, I'll go private money. So I do come out of pocket. If the deal is worth it. If it ain't going to cash flow, it ain't going to make me money, there's no reason to come out of pocket.
Yeah, no, me too. I come out of pocket too. Okay. I was just
I love
curious.
it. I definitely do, Jay Chris.
Okay, thank you. Thanks,
Good
Tez.
question, bro. Blaze?
Yeah, you pronounced it right. This is a question from Luke in the chat. He was asking, how'd you find your first partner? Was he already experienced, or did you bring him up with with your own knowledge?
Good question, man. Really good question. So my first business partner was actually my manager at that job I was telling y'all about. We got fired. We got fired on the same day. It was 2 days before April Fool's Day. I kid you not. 2019. They called us in at 1 p.m. and they gave me an option if I wanted to keep going or not. They just fired him on the spot because he was the boss's boss, right? So he knew better. I was just being misled, is the way they saw it. So yeah, whatever. But they fired us both. And him and I dove into business together. And that's the way I found him, man. He was already listening to Sean Terry's podcast. This dude up out of Arizona, big dude, Sean Terry. He was listening to his podcast, and I started listening to it, and we learned by way of just podcasts, YouTube, and trial and error, man. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps. I want to tell y'all something. Like the biggest thing I wanted to talk about, me and Eric talked about bringing value to, or value about, is going to be, you know, private money. And we were just talking about that. I want to give y'all a nugget. I'm sure Eric has talked about this, but when we're talking how we can scale rapidly, how I was able to graduate from wholesaling. Look, the biggest difference between a good wholesaler and a great real estate investor is funding. That's the biggest difference. Because once you become good, and Eric, you could attest it, once you become good at finding deals, you are the commodity. You're the commodity for the realtor. I mean, for the lender. You're the commodity for the investors as well. Okay. So once you become good at finding deals, you then have the option to either sell that deal off to investors or close on it yourself if you have funding. And that's what I want to help y'all with. Eric told me that y'all, you got some people in the Zoom that's from Texas. Of course, we got some people in Oklahoma. I just partnered up with a hard money lender who I can give you a resource of a lender who's going to approve you with no limit, depending on what the deal looks like, to do fix and flip and to do buy and hold. I'm telling y'all this because that's the way that I was able to scale so rapidly. None of the fix and flip, none of that happens. Again, I lost my job, y'all. I couldn't have went out to just a normal bank and got money. I had to find hard money and private money.
How can they get a hold of you for that if they're interested in that?
I'll drop my email in the chat.
Awesome. Blaze, you had something?
Yeah. So, if you ever got like a portfolio deal or anything like that, and you thought it was a pretty good deal, if you had nothing to lose, would you ever risk something like that?
In terms of just buying them all?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the big thing is this. Like, now, Blaze, how are you talking about acquiring them? Are you talking like just going to a lender to get it, or are you talking about
a lender, like a hard money lender or something like that? Because I've actually run into a few portfolio deals that I thought about picking up myself. I don't have any funding or anything myself though, and some people have come to me asking why I didn't pick it up myself. So,
yeah, bro, I'll tell you right now, Blaze. I would 1000% always take a chance. Now, before you send that deal off, before you send that off and possibly look like an ass to your lender, check the numbers and make sure it looks okay. But I'll tell you, you're going to more than likely get a good deal if a hard money lender gives you the money, because they ain't giving their money out on shit that's not good deals.
okay. Yeah, I just wanted to know if you would, like, if you had nothing to lose, if you would risk something like that.
It's a good way to,
100%.
that's a good way to put it.
What, Eric?
No, they won't give you the money if the numbers don't work.
Exactly. You ain't got to worry about it. You're like, oh, am I making a bad deal? Send it to the lender. He'll tell you real quick. I'm not giving you money for this. I'm not giving you money for this.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother.
While we're on the money topic, anybody else have any questions with that?
Private and hard money. Look, when y'all are looking to get money or get private money, I want y'all to keep something in mind. You know somebody who can loan you the money. It ain't got to just be my guy. If you're not in Texas and you're not in Oklahoma and you're like, whoop, this doesn't help. Look, here's the biggest thing. Anytime you get a buyer you add them to your buyers list, I'm gonna give y'all a nugget. I really hope my students are listening too. Look, every buyer you add to your buyers list, you should, if you're using MailChimp, if you're using Active Campaign, whatever you're using to build out your buyers list for these deals, you need to have an automatic response that says, would you consider partnering up as a money partner on my next investment or on an investment? Always ask that question. Most buyers are investors, are lenders. They got the money. Look, the bank doesn't only give people lines of credit to go out and buy houses. The bank also give you lines of credit to just use for real estate. So if they can use that money for real estate, they can loan you money and make money all day long, especially if you're good at finding deals. So regardless of where you're at, I got New York City here on my Instagram Live. New York City, wherever you are, every buyer you talk to is an opportunity to talk about private money. Eric, would you agree?
100%. We were just talking about that the other night.
Nice.
You know, like all these buyers, exactly that, you know, look to connect with them. They got money. And I was sharing my story too on how, you know, just one connection sent a buyer a flip. Some of you guys heard the story the other night, sent him a deal. He's like, he was in New York, deals in Pennsylvania. He's like, I like the deal. I have the money to do it, but I don't have any boots on the ground. And so I did the whole sweat equity play. All right. Yeah. Give me the money. I'll do the flip and then we'll, you know, 50-50 on it.
I love it.
For sure.
Partnered up on it and got it done. I love it.
There's so much money's floating around. And especially when you're new, it's very easy to be like, it's going to be too difficult to try and pull that off, or like, you know, I'm not there yet, or just lack of, you know, self-confidence. Nobody's going to give me 200,000 to pick this up. You don't know until you ask.
100%. I'll tell y'all, I was so discouraged. Look, I had decent credit. I had decent money from my 401k leaving that job, probably like $12,000, but that ain't no money when you got bills like every month. Okay. That ain't no money. So like, but I was going to go all in. Blaze, to your point, you're like, if you ain't got nothing to lose, would you go out? Bro, I was going to go all in and go buy this flip house, but they wouldn't even give me the funding the traditional way. Like I was going to the banks. I'm like, yo, how do I get money? I didn't know anything about private money, nothing about hard money. I just started asking people, talking to people. And as I built my buyers list out, I was like, wait a minute. Wait, these buyers, some of them are cash buyers, right? Well, what if they have cash they want to loan? Because I can find the deal, but I don't want to sell them the deal. They still want to make money on the deal. And a lot of these people want to be passive. Like I'm telling you, the fastest I can get to passive, bro, the fastest I'm not wholesaling. If I can sit here and make $120,000 a year on my money, okay, now I'm taking that same hustle and I'm going to something bigger, commercial or whatever, right? But the name of the game is to go passive. So if you got a lot of people who are already investing in real estate, they don't have a problem investing in real estate again in another way. It's another stream of revenue for them. So when y'all buy these buyers lists, when y'all build these buyers lists out and you see, look, this is an advantage. I'm gonna give y'all a nugget here. Eric probably already told you this too, but my people probably haven't heard it. When you get in these Facebook groups, I don't care what market you're in, New York, Texas, Dallas, I don't care what market you're in. Throw cash buyers or real estate investor or wholesaler in front of your city and search groups on Facebook, okay? The moment you do that, you don't have to get in there like everybody else and say, hey, I got a deal, or hey, I'm building my buyers list. No, you got 1 million people already done that. Go get the email addresses, build out a buyers list, okay? Now you got a buyers list. The moment you add those people to that buyers list, I want you to have it set up to where an automatic response goes to them when they're at it saying, hey, would you loan on deals? Have you considered loaning on deals? I guarantee you, you do that 300 times this month, you get 300 new buyers on there. You're going to get at least one person to tell you yes. After that, you need to be able to speak their language. Lean on Eric to learn their language, but I'm guaranteeing you that you're going to get a yes. Now it's up to you to go find the deal. Finding the money is easy, especially in a depressed market. Most of my private money people were top buyers for me 3 years ago. They've now acquired so much real estate, offloaded it all through the all the appreciation we had in every market across the country, right? Offloaded them all, and now they're ready to lend because they still got to make money. So, Blaze, I know you raised yours first. Blaze, what you got, bro?
Oh, you're good. I probably am, just so you know, I'm probably gonna annoy you with questions. I ask a
No,
lot
come
of
on,
questions.
bro. This is what it's for.
No, so another thing with the question I asked before, if you had a chance to instantly just jump into commercial, even though you know a little bit about it, but you don't know everything. With that lender, would you also try to find a partner at the same time?
If I'll never partner with somebody if I can afford to do it 100%. If my lender's going to fund me 100%, I'm not partnering.
So even if you don't know what you're doing fully, you would still jump into it?
No,
Okay,
no, I
because
wouldn't do that
on
with
those
somebody. I
portfolio
would never
deals,
do
that's
that
what
with
I was
somebody
asking.
else's money.
Okay,
But the only way to learn is to do it. Get you somebody who is smart. I think that was your question. I'm sorry, Blaze. Yes.
yeah, that was like my question is if you would get a partner to help you out with that situation.
1,000%. I'm going in on a multifamily. It's a 32 unit. That's like an hour and a half from my main city. I don't know much about that market, but the guy who's going in on it with me is a multi guy. He knows it, and I'm not even going to make as much money as him. But
Hey, he muted everyone. So
okay.
Yep.
My bad. Tez.
Like Eric was talking about with sweat equity, I'm 100% good, not making all the money if I got somebody as smart as Eric going in on the deal with me. You know what I'm saying?
okay, cool. That's what I wanted to know because
Yes, sir, Blaze. Because
there are
after
a
that,
few
bro, you
deals
got
that
the
I have
knowledge and
floating
you never
around.
need that person again.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Jay Chris, what you got, bro?
All right, so back to the money thing. Now that you're established a bit and you were able to bank some money, would you lay out money on a wholesale deal? Worst case scenario, keep it as a rental.
You said, would I lay it
Have you
out? What
ever,
you mean?
yeah, have you ever put up your own money on a wholesale deal? Have you ever bought the deal, then tried to wholesale it?
Like you like a hotel. You mean like
Yeah.
closing? You mean like closing on it and then flipping
Yes,
it out?
close on it. Yeah. Have you ever done that?
Absolutely, but I wouldn't use mine, Jay Chris. I'm a debt guy, bro. I'm going straight to a transactional lender. Those same private money guys and hard money guys do transactional lending all the time. It's expensive. I got a guy that does it for like 4 and 12. But
Yeah, but
if I'm
I don't have to go to somebody. So, with my thing is I'd prefer not to pay those fees. They're high.
yeah, I agree.
You're going to lose 30% of your profit right off the bat. And, if the deal is a good deal, it's even if it's a buy and hold, and you actually have investors that would give you the money to buy and hold these properties for 10, 15, 20, 30 years. They don't
Yes,
put you
sir.
on a short loan
Yes,
for like
sir.
2 years.
I heard you say something about 30% of profits, but bro, I'm looking at 4% interest just as a origination fee. Most of these guys, they just charge you origination fee. So if I'm charging if it's 4 points and I got 5 deals to close, I'm not using all my money for that. Personally, I'd rather just use other people's money, bro. That's just the way I go. I can go faster. I'd rather take a little bit of a lot than worry about a lot on a little deal. I don't want to tie up 50K and I'm stressing if I'm going to get my 50K back on this one deal, but I could have 5 deals bring me 200K already. And none of it was my money.
I went hard money one time just on purchasing a business, before I even got into real estate. And I was paying like $750 a month just in interest. Plus I was at 3 points plus 2,500 a year. So, so I was paying, by the time it came up after 3 years to pay it back, I had the full principal left pretty much. I knocked down 20% of it. So I know these hard money lenders. I mean, I only used it once, so technically I don't know, but I know it can really eat.
It's different in real estate, bro.
Yeah.
Jay Chris, if we're talking about a hotel deal, this is a deal I'm closing on and putting on the market tomorrow, or I'm closing on it and I'm selling it tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I'm not holding. I agree with you. Holding hard money is not a good idea. I'm not holding hard money. Absolutely not. I'm looking at 6 to 12 month loans with these people, and I want it done in 2.
Okay. Yeah. That's where I was getting. That's where I was getting at. If you would ever sit on something for a long term,
no,
there's no way to win on that.
No. Hey,
okay.
Yes, there is though. Yes, there is. And the way that you win on those is if you get somebody with a low enough interest rate. I got a guy right now who will loan me money at 10% interest on a long-term 30-year note, and I'm able to do an owner finance with a tenant buyer at 12% interest. So it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
It's all about the structure. The number has to make sense, all that stuff. But if I come into a deal, and like you said, Jay Chris, if you got the money, bro, ignore my advice. If you're okay doing it. But I mean, if I'm seeing Grant Cardone take other people's money, bro, I'll never not take other people's money.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not ignoring you. I mean, definitely I agree with everything that you're saying 100%. I'm not educated on, using other people's money. And that's really where my question is. I've never tried to use somebody else's money. I mean, I've jumped in on a family member with something, but never anybody else on real estate with hard money.
I got a gift for Eric and anybody who's one of Eric's students. I'm going to send it to Eric. Eric probably already has one. I have a private money lending packet. Okay. This is going to help you and everybody. I really hope you're listening. This is a gift that I didn't intend to give, but Jay Chris has asked some fire questions, bro. This lending packet, you make it a PDF, you turn it into a PDF. A lot of my students already have this. If not, y'all need to hit me up. You turn it into a PDF of your own. You're going to see my company logo on there. You're going to see all that crap, but you can change this, okay? Go in and edit it. Look over it so you know what you're talking about. And everybody that you talk to, when it comes to lending, you send them that and you say, hey, as soon as you get that, call me so I can go over this with you. And it explains exactly the way a lending transaction should happen. Fix it to the interest rates you're comfortable with. Mine says between 8 and 12 because those numbers are comfy for me. But in your market, you need you a private money lending package so you can have something digital. I've locked up private money lending at a club. I've been drunk with somebody and I heard that he owns 7 dispensaries. And I was like, okay, this dude's got his money. He's throwing money everywhere, right? He's throwing money and we're at a strip club. He's throwing money. I'm like, all right, this dude's got money. I was like, hey man, have you ever heard of private money lending? He was like a 28-year-old dude. He goes, yeah, bro. Yeah, I know what that is. Still throwing money. I'm like, all right, dude, what's your email? He was like, this is my email. I took his email. He was drunk the next morning. I called him at like 1. He was drunk all morning, wasn't answering my call, wasn't texting him back, but I kept called him 3 times. We were still in Florida. He visited Florida. I locked that dude up. He's loaned me over 1.1 million, like at least in the last 2 years. And that was at the club. And I was able to speak his language. When he got on the phone, he wanted to know that his investment was secure by real estate. So if he ever needs to take this property or if he ever needs to get his money back, he's asking himself one question when he's determining on giving me the money. If I have to foreclose on Jay Chris tomorrow, can I make my money back? Because that's what they assume. They assume they have to take the house. And like to the original joke that me and Eric said, that me and Eric was talking about, they're not going to give you money on a deal if it's not a deal, because that's the only way they make their money. So, or protect their money, I'm sorry. So, you're talking about, private money lending on a business. That's different than something where it's like, I can take this as a foreclosure, put it on the market and get my money back because I'm only into this deal for 75% of the market value. I don't care about Jay Chris's credit because I like the deal. I don't care about his employment because I like the deal. Like a buy here, pay here, bro. Higher interest rate, but we're going to take it as soon as you slip.
That definitely makes sense. Yeah. And they won't use, they won't put holds on any of your collateral or anything, these hard money lenders.
Hey, when they start asking for your social security and stuff like that, be like, yo, I'm out. Because
Gotcha.
real hard money lenders, bro, they don't care. They got money and they need it to work. ASAP.
Just all about the deal. Got it.
All about the deal, bro.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, hey, and that private money lending package, Jay Chris, is going to help you structure your offer, right? When you hit them, be like, yo, this is what I'm looking for. And hey, and as soon as you can start talking to them about their returns and how their money's secured and how they're protected with a first lien position, they're going to love you. They're going to be like, okay, this dude actually knows what he's talking about. Here's $150K.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah, I want to see it.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. I got you.
Thank you.
I'll send it over to you.
Thank you.
Yep. Hey, Christian, what's up, bro? Luke, I think Luke actually asked first. Luke, what you got, man?
Hey, hopefully you can hear me. Thank you, Blaze, for asking that question. You kind of answered one of my questions about what is like an ideal terms on a hard money deal. You said what, 4 to 8% or 4 to 12%. And then also, do you recommend any books on learning about hard money?
Man, I don't have any books I recommend, but if I'll do something for y'all real quick, just as a solid. I'm gonna show y'all something. Hey, Eric, do you mind giving me host status?
Yeah, you got it.
I'm gonna show y'all something, okay? I didn't even intend to do this, I promise. I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna be sending you because Luke, your question is fire, bro. Here we go. Let me share my screen real quick. Okay. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah, we see it. Yep.
Okay, bet. Look, a note from the owner. This is the first thing. Look, on behalf of Tez Houses, I appreciate the opportunity, all that stuff. Let's jump right into it. Here's what they care about. They don't care about Tez or none of that. Look at this. Present to you how you can invest with us and earn 8 to 12% annualized returns. Annualized returns with real estate as collateral. They're like, okay, all right. I like that because my bank ain't giving me 8. Shit, they ain't even giving me 5. They ain't even giving me 3. Eric, how much can you get at the bank if we took 100K there right now? Or $1 million?
He'd be around 7.
If you're lucky, right?
It's prime. Yeah,
That's prime.
It depends
Now-
what you're pulling to.
No, that's interest rate. I mean return. I'm talking return. Eric, like how much is the bank going to pay me to hold my money?
I don't. You tell me.
3%, 3%
Yeah.
right now. I'm
Yeah,
getting 3.2 right now.
What
Right.
bank
So
you going to?
let's
Capital
go.
One.
Uh,
So here we go. Boom. So how do we? So
Right
how
now
we work
is
together?
3.2.
Here's the big piece of what I'm talking about. Minimum commitment. We're looking at 25K to 120K. You tweak this to your market. Here in Oklahoma, you can buy 25. I'm talking like sub 2 as well, right? Like this is a down payment to get somebody out of their house so I can take it over. So 25K is low threshold. But if you're somebody in a $500,000 market, listen to me, $500,000 ain't nothing to a millionaire, especially whenever it's in a bank account anyway. And all you're asking them to do is put it over here and it can earn them more money. When you start knowing how to speak this language in here, we typically get your money back in 3 to 12 months. Why? Because it takes me 30 days to close on a property. I'm sorry, 30 to 45 days to remodel it. And if it's an FHA loan, there's a seasoning period and guideline in FHA where you got to hold a property for 90 days. This is all shit that you'll learn as you flip properties, but there's actually a guideline. So I start saying all that stuff when I'm talking to them. They understand what I'm saying, and then I actually open their eyes to a lot of them. One of my guys was a police officer with a really big pension, and he wasn't ready to retire. He was going to give him 5 more years, but he needed to make more money. I started telling him all about this. He didn't even know this shit existed. So you're going to turn the light bulb on for a lot of people. Get on your Facebook, post your next deal that you get under contract and say, hey, I'm looking for partners to partner with me on real estate. You send them this packet too. I'm dropping bombs on y'all. Look, if you ask your inner circle, you will find money. You just got to know how to say it. You got to know how to talk. You post a distressed property. Let everybody know what you do. Like Eric posting on social media is probably why all of y'all are on this Zoom. All of my people are on this Zoom because they probably see me on social media somewhere, okay? I'm saying this because the more people you tell you're in real estate is so sexy to people. It's so appealing. It's so attractive. Everybody want to do it, right? And they think that we're all rich, right? Driving Lamborghinis, right? So everybody who works a 9 to 5, most people look at real estate as like this hot girl in high school who they didn't have the bravery to walk up to, right? So when you start saying, hey, you want to work with me? They're like, oh yeah, it's going to turn a light bulb on. And then you send them this. Hey, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for financial partners to take deals down. Are you game? Here's what you would make. So look, we talk about this, investor protection. Look, mortgage and promissory note. This is how you're protected. This is very important to anybody giving you money. Because as they're going through this, that's what they're wondering. They're reading this, and then they get down here like, oh, okay, here's where it gets fun. How am I protected? Mortgage and promissory note. A mortgage and promissory note will secure the investment. They're in first position. If you mess up, they take the house. Transactions will occur at a title company. We generally close at Chicago Title. This is a title company that I love in my market. In case of non-performance of contract terms by Tez buys houses, the properties will transfer to the investing partners, investors, and lost payee on insurance. Boom. You get it. It's right there in writing. Okay. Detailed reports will be provided to the properties under contract. There you go. So basically, if anything you need to ask. So this right here is going to tell them everything they need to know about our target, what we like to look for, 30% of ARV, whatever, right? Rental, cash out, the ways I get out of it, resale, I'm going to wholesale it, or I can wholesale it, which is something like what I think Jay Chris asked about. You can basically close on it, sell it as is with minor cleanup and repairs, rehab, fully rehab it, so on and so forth. Y'all, this is what I'm going to give you. This is something that I had to design and cost me a lot of time to come up with, but I'm going to send it to you because you're one of Eric's peoples. Okay. And if you're one of my students, just hit me in Slack and I'll send it to you too.
We all appreciate
Much
that.
appreciated. Absolutely. Thank you.
Hey, no worries,
absolutely.
man. No worries.
Definitely.
No worries. I got y'all, man. Eric is a great dude. I like this dude. Hey, Christian Michael, what you got?
2 questions. So my first one was like when you're talking to Jay Chris about the origination fees. So is that paid? When is that paid? Like, is that like a down payment or?
Man, so I don't know if this is for this call because it'll blow some of y'all's minds, but what if I told you that Hold on. Let me get off Instagram Live. All right. So I had to end my Instagram Live. Okay. What if I told y'all that every house that I've ever bought, I've never paid a dime? I know you're not gonna believe me. I'm sounding like one of those gurus, but listen, the origination fee you asked about, Christian. Listen, you remember I just showed you the max percentage in LTVs that these lenders are willing to go up to, somewhere around 75 to 80%.
Yeah.
Well, if I can wholesale a deal to myself, I'm just gonna wait. If I can wholesale a deal to myself for more money that covers my repair and my down payment, I'll never pay a down payment for a property. So the origination fee that I was talking about, I don't bring any money to the table on most deals that I close. It's a fix and flip or a buy and hold.
Okay,
It took
so
me a
you're
year.
using
It
that
took me a year to
margin to
figure it out,
cover
bro. It's-
using that margin of what you're making to cover the 4%. So then that way you're not out of pocket. You're still in profit then. Is that
You're
what
still in
saying?
profit in theory, but I don't really care about profit. What I care about is not coming out of pocket. So example, let's say it's ABC, you know, hey, think about the same scenario with the buyer when you're wholesaling a deal. Okay. We all get that, right? So if you got two entities, you got entity one selling to entity two, you own both entities. The lender is going to fund based on the contract between B and C. He never sees A to B. Okay, so A to B, that's your original seller. Let's just say it's 50K. You got a contract for 50K over here, okay? With the original seller. You're buying the property, that's A to B. You're buying it for 50. Now, you're selling it to your other entity that you own for 60K. So you got Eric LLC, you got Eric LLC 2.0. Don't call it that, right? Of course, have different names that are a lot further away from the other one, but you own both of these companies. So when the lender approves you and you ask for money, they're going to approve you based on the contract between Eric LLC and Eric LLC 2.0. You get what I'm saying?
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, bro, this is a bomb. Listen to me. Look, this shit took me like over a year. And this is like next level, like mastermind shit I'm giving y'all. This is like $10,000 worth of game. Listen, when you wholesale that deal to the other person, as long as you inflate it by way of your repair money and your 4%, 3%, I don't give a shit what they ask. If they're willing to go up to 75% and I'm able to fit my repairs and my down payment and everything in that second contract, and that's what they're going to approve me on, you're not getting over on anybody. You're not taking advantage of anybody. Again, they're willing to loan you 75% of the property's value, right? So if I can fit all my numbers in that 75% number, why would I ever pay for a house? It just turns into a game of finding deals. And I don't care how I find them. Realtors, wholesalers, I don't give a shit. It's just going to have to make sense to me. It's going to have to make sense by way of my down payment XYZ.
Got it. I got it now. So my second question, aside from that one, would be when you're pitching, like what you just showed us, that pitch deck,
Yep.
do you feel like it's necessary to have like a whole entire portfolio in there, like 5 different properties or 10 different properties you've already done deals on, or could you just like go out there and start pitching that? Because like my wife is like very hesitant, and she's an attorney, so she's always like, oh, I gotta stick by the books. I want to have like 5-10 houses in our portfolio that we've already flipped and blah blah blah. And I was like, why don't you just go get the investors for the money now? Like, why you're just wasting time, like have to wait a year to get more investors.
I get your wife's perspective 100%. And I respect that. I definitely do. Here's the biggest thing I want you to know. When you double close a property, you take ownership, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you double close it, you take ownership. So you just flip the house.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
And it shows. You can show it. You got title, you got settlement statements and everything to prove it. So yeah. But I respect your wife's opinion. It's all up to you how you want to do that. But if I just flipped the house and I made money, that's all they care about. So that's what I'm going to tell them. Hopefully that helps you.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Anybody else got any questions or anything I can cover when it comes to this lending stuff? Cool.
I
Eric,
think
what you got?
You blew everybody's mind.
Yeah, that
Yeah, I'm a little
wholesale.
lost.
Hey, that
It's-
wholesale. I'm sorry, Cole. What'd you say, bro?
I would just say I'm a little lost.
Yeah, that
It-
wholesaling to yourself is a bomb, man.
Yeah.
There's levels to this, so you got to progress into doing more and more creative stuff like this. But I love it. I love that.
Yeah, it's definitely levels. It's something that it's something that's crazy. It's something that took me a little while to wrap my head around. And then I figured out, I was like, wow, lenders are actually doing this.
Have you switched up anything that you're doing now? Now that the market's changing?
Yeah, man, I actually have. So like one of my biggest shifts right now with this new market, because I got caught holding the bag like a lot of people, man. I had 8 properties on the market that weren't moving, that were all fix and flips. That I lost money on at least 4 of them. And every month I was paying like 18 grand in holding costs, and the houses weren't moving. It was a lot to, to bear, but I'm still fixing and flipping. But what I saw while holding these properties is that houses were still flying off the market here in my market in Oklahoma City. But the houses that were flying off the market were, $180,000 or less. So, with properties that in that price point, they're still flying because, the payment on them, even with the rising interest rates, is just as expensive as renting a house. So what I saw is that, what I switched now is my buying criteria for rentals is still the same. I got to be in it a little better now with the rising interest rates, but I'm not really sweating the rising interest rate and little cash flow, because I know I anticipate next year, a lot of us anticipate picking up a whole lot of real estate and then being able to refi to the lower interest rates. My biggest change has been to my fix and flip game, where I will not buy a property. I don't care where it's at in our city. I will not buy a property that's a fix and flip if I justify my purchase price by an ARV that's above 180,000. If that makes sense. So like,
Yeah.
It can be worth 300,000, sure, but in my mind, I need to be able to make money and sell this deal at $180,000 or less.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I'm with you on
So
that.
now what are you going to do with those stuck homes? You're going to just rent them out?
No, I'm selling them, dude. I'm selling them. I'm
Still
taking
gonna sell
losses.
them?
I'm getting them off my books. Here's the thing, Jay Chris. Most of them, again, remember I was telling you the purchase price was too high. So,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the sale price that I'm having to sell it at is too high. They're still moving. They're just slower.
When did you
And-
pick them up? Like,
One more time, Eric.
like, did you pick them up and you were thinking ARV is 250, but now you're done with the rehab because it's been a few months and yeah.
Yep. I picked them up before it got too crazy. So the biggest thing, Jay Chris, what I'm doing with them is if I refi them and I try to actually hold them as rentals, the payment's going to be way too high for my market to actually have a tenant who's going to come in and rent that property. Can it happen?
Gotcha.
Yes. But when we're talking about, at least here in Oklahoma, when you're talking about somebody paying $2,000 in rent, bro, they're going to rent there for a year maybe, and they're going to go buy a house.
We've been seeing that a lot. We look at a lot of deals on our meetings, and we just saw that last night. A guy fixed and flipped it, kind of overshot the ARV, and now he's stuck. We were trying to do something creative. There's nothing. He has no shot at it, at making anything. He's gonna have to take a haircut.
Yeah, man.
But
Look,
nobody could predict it, So you just gotta roll with the punches sometimes.
there's builders here with hundreds of houses, man. That's just, man, hundreds of houses just sitting there.
Yeah.
And they can't sell them, dude. So I'm like, I don't feel as bad, but if you ain't got money and you out here like living paycheck to paycheck and you got 3-4 flips and you can't, it'll eat your lunch. You're done, So
Blaze
Yeah.
Blaze, you had something?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna ask, do you JV at all on any
Oh, yeah,
deals
bro.
at all?
oh yeah.
And can we do that? Can we send deals like if it's in your market that way on your email?
Hell yeah, man. Look, I got students in Dallas, I got students in Houston, Oklahoma City, Tennessee, Georgia. If you ever have a deal, you have trouble moving, man, send it to me. I'll have my dispo guys get it out and we'll work with you on a fee.
So I actually do a lot of JVs in the group because I actually help Eric run the Discord and everything lately.
Nice.
So we've been trying to get that up and running more. So I've been busy with that. So I haven't
Yeah,
got
bro.
time to, I haven't had so much time to call. I've been focusing on dispoing and I'm trying to make more connections outside of just Facebook groups and everything.
Yeah. Okay. Heck yeah, bro. I got my student. I got Jasmine's in here and she's in. Jasmine, you're in Tulsa, aren't you?
No, I'm actually right here in Oklahoma City too.
Okay. She's in Oklahoma City. Sorry. And
Yeah.
then you got Trey Simpkins. Trey is in Oklahoma City. Charlie's in Oklahoma City. All these people are right here in my market. Carlton is in Oklahoma City. What else we got on the call? Yeah. But anyway, all these people are down, man. If you get a deal and you need help moving it, or you want boots on the ground, Jasmine to go out, look at a house and wrap it up for you. If it makes sense, you get her paid. Look, she's happy. Let's go. You got boots on the ground, Blaze, or if we get a deal in your market, what market you in, Blaze?
I actually live in Michigan, but I don't focus out in my market because I focus mainly in creative financing, and that is
Okay.
very frowned upon in this state.
Is it really?
We called them land contracts for a long time, and no owner likes to do a land contract here because so many people have been screwed over and everything.
Really?
Yep. So it's a hard market. I figured that out when I first started joining Eric's course.
Huh.
Just keep you interested. Try to stay out of Michigan.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, Tez, I don't mess around in my state anymore. I mean, I have 5 doors here, but in New York's just become so crazy, and seller finance game here just doesn't work at all.
Really? In New York?
In Long Island, Suffolk County. I don't mess around with the city.
Okay.
The big thing there though is the moratorium, right? For you,
Yeah, the
Jason?
moratorium is big, yeah, with the attorney state, and it's just tough to kick people out. I have friends that have, over 100 doors, and they're stuck with people for years that won't pay, and it's tough to get people out. And when, your rent is at
Because y'all are
34
blue, bro.
I know. When your rent is
That's
at
why.
3,400 and you're taking that haircut, that's something that'll bankrupt you. So
You
I'm
know what?
liquidating.
That's why
all
I was
my
trying to
assets.
figure it out. I'm sitting here wrecking my brain, like, what's up with New York? And I was like, oh yeah, they're like Cali, they're blue.
Yeah, well, the city is blue. Long Island is not. Unfortunately, I know
okay.
it doesn't matter, but Long Island is red, completely red.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter about the moratorium there. Like, it's been hard to foreclose people forever in New York. It takes forever. Like, it take like 5 to 10 years to get somebody out of that house once it's been foreclosed on.
Jeez.
Wow. That is
Yeah, it's just
crazy.
it's not worth it here. Fortunately, I have very good tenants. My tenants are long-term tenants, but I am dumping my properties, and my wife and I are looking to move and reinvest. Take a decent amount of cash and reinvest.
Nice, bro. Hey, you sell anything in New York that you own and you move to Oklahoma, you live like a king.
Yeah.
You'll have a moat and everything, bro.
I just want to set my kids up. I'm not
Yeah,
looking to live like a king. I just want to set it up nice for them.
Wait, you can do that here too, man.
Yeah. I might be heading down to Eric's market. We'll see.
Okay. Hey, Florida's a great place to live too.
Yeah, I mean, nothing to do with Eric. Just Florida's up and coming. I don't want Eric. I don't want you to think I'm following you, buddy.
Yeah. We could be neighbors.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. What else we got? Any other questions?
You guys are quiet.
I just
Yeah,
want
I
to say I
want some questions.
appreciate you answering mine.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Came to bring value. So if y'all would just hit me in my email or something, and I'll send you that private money lending packet if you want it. And then, yeah, that's it.
I sent
Tanner-
you an email
Tanner-
already.
Tanner's got his hand up. You had something, Tanner?
Yeah, what up, Tez? How you doing?
Yo, Tanner, what's up, man?
Not much. I just got a question about how do you go about comping?
Comping houses?
Yeah.
Man, I got my license. And most times when I'm comping a house, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, Tanner. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I'm gonna give you the most basic, because every little neighborhood and pocket is different depending on what comps you have. But I'll give you a little piece of advice, Tanner. I don't know your market, but I know you know it. Do not cross any major boundaries and do not leave the neighborhood for a comp. So here, there's a street called Pennsylvania in Western, 23rd. We have some streets here, are high traffic areas. Do not cross one of those streets. If you cross the street to pull a comp, it better be in the same neighborhood.
All right.
And also, if you got a siding house, do not compare it to a brick house.
Okay.
At least here. I mean, it's just not the same build type, so the appraisers are not going to give you the same value.
No, you're
Yeah.
100% right. It's hard to comp it really is for everybody in the group. It's hard to comp a house when you don't live there because 2 blocks can make a giant difference and you don't
100%.
realize.
100%. Hey,
So it's tough.
the thing I do in different markets is I'll go to the county. Here's a nugget. I go to the county and I'll look at the description and or I'm trying to look and see if it's in the same neighborhood. Legal description is what I'm looking for. The legal description is what I'm looking for. If it has a different legal description, more than likely in different markets, they're not going to give you the same value because it's not in the same neighborhood. Look, the only time you get super in detail like that is when you're struggling to find a comp. Never ever pass over 5 bad comps that's on the same street to go a street over to get a good one, because an appraiser is not going to do that. He's going to say there's enough to deal with here. That's the thing about a lot of wholesalers and anybody that's new. They go look for the best comp in the neighborhood and they bypass 50 comps, 5 comps, even 3 comps. If I'm looking on the street and there's 3 comps there, never ever, will an appraiser pass those 3 comps. So you shouldn't when you're pulling value. I hope that helps you. Bro, Tanner.
Yeah, that helped a lot. Thank you.
Absolutely, brother. Paul, what's up, bro?
Hey, Tez, how you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
Right on. Hey, I'm a little bit northeast of you. I'm up in Kansas City.
Okay.
And Missouri's got a lot of lakes and stuff, like Lake of the Ozarks and whatnot. You guys got Lake of the Cherokee and whatnot. You mess with any of those lake homes? Flipping any lake homes?
No, man, I actually haven't. I've never flipped a lake house.
Yeah. It's a little bit different. I mean, I haven't done it myself, but I'm looking into it. But a lot of the people that own them, or a lot of them, don't live there full time. So there's also, depending on the age of the lake, there's aged owners, who may have, aged property. So.
Yeah. I got we got a lake here called Lake Hefner. Have you ever heard of Lake Hefner, Paul?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Lake Hefner, I just bought a condo in Lake Hefner, but it's gonna be a buy and hold for me.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
How many doors is that?
Just 2.
Just 2? Yeah.
Yep, just 2.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was just wondering if you had ventured out in that kind of market.
I haven't, no, sir.
I know. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Yeah. Hey, if you ever have something in Oklahoma City, Paul, hit us up. And I actually got a wholesale student out in Kansas. So if you ever want to partner up with that dude or something, I would love to send him your way.
Yeah, you bet. All
right, brother.
And if I get down there, maybe we'll have a beer or something.
Let's do that.
Down there every once in a while.
I'm having a meetup. I'm having a meetup at the end of this month with a lot of my students. I would love to have you come out.
Yeah, sounds good, man.
All right, brother. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, sir. Cool. Eric, what you got, man?
I think you shared a lot of good stuff that we don't touch on. Absolutely. That was kind of the whole point of bringing you over here. You guys are pretty quiet. Anybody have any other questions?
Jasmine, what you got?
Hey, so I have been trying to pull some lists off of the local county sites. And for the life of me, I just cannot figure out how to do it. So I'm just wondering if I just need to go up there in person, or is there a specific tricky way that we have to do it?
Pulling lists?
Yeah, just like tax lead.
Have you been through the course yet?
Not all the way.
Okay. So what we use batch leads.
Use batch leads to pull all lists.
All lists.
Okay.
All lists. Eric, do I have time to show them how to pull a list?
Yeah, go ahead.
Ooh.
You can be on as long as you want. Normally we're on here until like 11.
I want to show Jasmine this.
You got it.
So you can skip over some look, this is going to help you. Don't worry about doing those lists. Hey, Eric, do you use batch?
Yeah, for
Eric
sure.
uses batch for his stuff too, Jasmine. Jasmine, have you heard of batch leads?
Yeah. I tried to do like an SMS marketing campaign on there one time and I failed royally, but because I just couldn't figure out how to set up the automated text messages and all the other stuff.
It's a little complex starting out.
Yeah. But yeah, I've heard of it. I had PropStream for a while. I don't know what the difference is with PropStream data versus batch leads. So why do you guys prefer to use batch?
I just like the data more. I get more leads. If I skip the same similar list over in prop, I get like a quarter of the same amount of people.
Oh, okay.
For Oklahoma City and Tulsa, at least.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I played with both of them for a long time. I was actually on prop for majority of my time. And then when I first ran into Tez, he's like, dude, you got to get back into batch. They just dropped the 3.0. The 3.0, like you were just saying, they update the records. So I'm pretty sure on PropStream, they're not updating updating the file or the records. I think it's like every couple of weeks or like every month that they update. Batch leads, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure it's like every 60 seconds or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
It's
crazy accurate data. Because I got both. I still pay for both. I just only use batch.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing too is like if you want to use the SMS or the dialers, it's super easy to integrate all of that as one. So instead of like pulling a list off a prop and then, okay, now I got to go buy a separate dialer, then upload it into that, which really nice is you could just move that list right into the dialer. But the really like why I really like it more than anything is because you can bang out that list in the dialer, first, and then you can basically extract the people that you didn't get a hold of on the dialer and only plug those people into the SMS. So like when I was using prop, I had a separate dialer and then I had a separate SMS system. And it was pretty crappy because we make all these calls. We spoke to a lot of people from the dialer. And then we'd be shooting them a text on the SMS and they're like, didn't we just talk like the other day? And there was no way to prevent that until Batch came out with their 3.0 where it's all tied into one system.
Okay, well, I'll definitely start implementing batch. And I thank you so much for telling me that. I had no idea.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to, Jasmine, do you want to see how I pull this?
Yes.
Does anybody else want to see how I pull this?
Definitely.
All right, let's do it. All right, can y'all see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is my user account. I have a sold account for my VAs. But whenever I'm going in and I'm pulling lists like personally, here's the way I'm doing it. And this is just my market. Y'all do what you want to in your market. You should know like what a wholesale house is, depending on what type of lead you're pulling. Eric helps y'all understand how to get houses under contract that are different than just wholesaling. But when you're wholesaling in my market, like there's a particular like formula I'm using when I'm doing this. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull up, let's do Tulsa, Oklahoma. No, let's do Oklahoma City. All right. So I go to batch, I pull up Oklahoma City, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's search it. So boom. If you look over my right-hand corner right here, that's 250,000 properties. Now, obviously, we're not going to skip trace 250,000 properties. Okay. So we got to get this list down to a more realistic number. So what I'm going to do is I'm start adding filters. I want it to be based around, the classifications I want, and I'm going to get this list as low as possible. Now, in my market, there's a lot of single family. Our market is really owned by single family. We're getting a lot of apartments now, but most of the properties here are single family properties. Okay. Most people we're talking to own a property that's a single family. So I'm gonna go residential, first classification. Now, if y'all notice out to the right-hand side, as I add filters, they add up here. I'm telling you this for a good reason. I'll tell you why in a little bit. So when we're looking at this thing, we're going to go residential first. Property types, I'm going to go single family. I'm going to go townhouse. Those are big here. And just to get my list small, I'm going to stay with those. Okay.
Just to, I don't mean to cut you off, just little extra piece here. There's two types of data you guys can be pulling. So you can go wide or you can go deep. Wide would be if Tez just wanted to do absentee owners. They own it, but they don't live there. Might be motivated, might not. It's going to be hit or miss. But when you go wide, you can't pull only 50 records out of 3,000 absentees because you'll probably get nothing out of it. That could be 50 people that aren't motivated. Or you can go on the deep side of things where you can start with absentee owner. And I'm sure this is where Tez is going, but you'd filter it down even more. You're not going to have a list, results found of 3,000 records. It might only be 200. For those 200, they're more likely to have that pain point. So you can list stack. I'm sure that's what you're about to do. Absentee owner with 65 and up, and they got liens on it, and they're pre-foreclosed, probably almost all those people have no choice but to get rid of their home.
I love that, Eric.
So
I love it. And that's
it
something
really
yeah.
depends on your budget, I think, is what the big factor is with that.
Depending on your budget, 1,000%. Because to his point, as at the bottom of the screen is something I skipped over. But when I typed in Oklahoma City, look at all these quick filters that popped up.
Yeah.
If you want to talk to absentee owners or people who inherited a property, there's 368 people who just inherited a property in Oklahoma City. Does that mean they live here? No. Pre-foreclosure, 158 people. Cash buyers say that there's 78,000, but what it is, it's a bunch of people moving from New York to Oklahoma. I'm just kidding, but I'm kind of serious too. But you got cash buyers, you got tired landlords, you got vacant, so on and so forth. So you can go wide, to Eric's point. And I'm sorry, I didn't do that, but yeah, let's get back to these filters. So here, we got these 3 filters so far, and I like to go deep because I like a very custom list every time. I don't like to spend a lot of money on lists. I like my VAs to stay pointed with what they're doing, so I keep mine super custom. But bedrooms, I want people with at least 2 bedrooms. Bathrooms, I want at least 2 bathrooms. This is just me again. Your build, I want stuff 1950 and newer. I got a hedge fund that buys at these different type of criteria too. That's something to keep in mind. When you got a buyer looking for a particular product, I like to skip it. I like to find out where they are, and I like to send my buyers there. I got a hedge fund that won't buy anything that's older than 1950, so I don't skip anything older than 1950. Anyway, stories, I'm not really tripping on that. I don't really care. So we can go ahead and we can close that down. Okay. Next, I'm going to MLS status. I have a license. I was telling Eric that, and realtors, by the time a realtor gets involved anyway, they're 6% inflated in the price. So if I'm looking at like a very direct list and it comes time for me to or for my VAs to spend their time wisely, personally, unless I'm doing subject to and making subject to offers. If this is a wholesale list I'm building, or a cash buyer, or a list for me to do a fix and flip or buy and hold, whatever, I want it off the market personally. Listing date, that doesn't matter because again, it's off the market. Let's go ahead and close that out. I'm going to close this down anyway. Pre-foreclosure, this I have no preference. I really don't care. If I want to shrink this list down, I'll add that. But let's just see where we're at right now with just those filters. It's 54 properties. There's got to be a filter in here that was 2. Here it is. Notice a sale. I chose that one. That's the one. It's going to jump back up. Yep. Now we're at 78,000 properties. Look at this. This house is 1.3 million. This is not a wholesale property. Okay. This is not a property that he may be in distress, but I don't think my cash buyer can help him. All right. So I'm not going to waste time talking to that person. So I don't really care about their ownership status. I want it to be an individual. Sure, you can get tired of landlords by way of company owned. So let's just leave it there. Let's leave it company owned because most investors are going to have it under an LLC. Lien, you can add that if you want. Valuation, this is a big one, right? This is how I get this property out of here. And other houses that's wasting my time in my market. You know your market better than anybody, better than me. But max, I'm not looking at a max evaluation on a property here in Oklahoma if it's worth more than $250,000. Y'all remember I was telling y'all about the fix and flip, right? Something 180 or more. I'm not looking at anything 250 or more because this type of property, a $250,000 property, you're looking at a white collar tenant. And when you jump into the realm of white collar tenants, the expectation is higher. A lot of times investors know this. And also your vacancy rate is going to be higher in a lot of cases because in order to find somebody who can afford that, meet your credit criteria, backgrounds and all that stuff, it's tougher than a $900 rental in Oklahoma, at least, right? $900 rental, we can turn those all day long. People are moving out of apartments, moving into those. By the time you get up into this $1,800 to $2,000 range, those people got enough money to fix their credit and move. The only reason they're renting is because they don't have the credit to buy or they're old. That's it. Now you can hit the jackpot and get somebody old, and heaven forbid something happened to them, but you're going to have a vacancy then. Right? So those are things that landlords think about. So you can't really wholesale a lot of these properties unless it's an Airbnb, okay? Unless we're talking Airbnb. But let's just say we're not. I like to keep my list small again. So Let's go ahead and apply those filters. Let's see how many we got. We got 38,000. Okay. We cut a lot of properties out. This is going to allow me to be very, very intentional with my list. After I do that mortgage info, loan type, if you're doing sub 2, that's going to matter to me. It doesn't right now for this conversation. Cash buyers, not super important. Demographics. Okay. This list right here is too thick for me to skip. Right. I don't know if I want to skip 38,000 people. I typically do between 10 and 12,000 a week. So this is probably like a month, an entire month for me, but I'm not only in Oklahoma City as a market. So I don't want to spend all my skips on just one market. I'll bounce out to Tulsa and Texas as well. I'll spend that 40,000 in different markets. So anyway, so let's figure out what filters we can add to make this list smaller. That's what I'm going for. So what I'm going to do over here, let's go back to bedrooms. Let's add a 3-bed. Landlords love 3 beds. Okay. Let's see.
Maybe equity, because you want to flip
Equity?
it. You need you need some equity.
Where's that at? Valuation equity. Yes, sir. Equity value, estimated value, equity. What are you thinking? What are you thinking, Eric?
Maybe on the percentage side, go to like they have at least 60% in equity.
The
other thing too is there's no right or wrong way to go about this. Like, and from my experience with that, like data that I would pull in Pennsylvania, great, like made me a ton of money. Try to do the same data down here in Florida, didn't work, didn't get one deal, and I spent the same amount of money. So it does vary on, what you're targeting, but then also the market too. So it is kind of a plug and play and, seeing what works and what doesn't.
100%. Can you think of any other filters we should add, Eric?
What did it come down to? 21?
We got 21,000.
That's still a lot.
That's
Maybe
still a lot.
Maybe a little more pain, make them hurt. They got a lean or something.
Yeah, okay.
Or
Lean tight, what do you think?
Yeah.
Mechanics?
Yeah, we could just play with it.
Okay. Let's see. Ooh, support lean. Child support?
Actually, you know what I like? See what it takes it down to when you put in the age filter. If you go to demographics, do like 65 and up.
Yeah, I like that one.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah,
go ahead, Buzz.
It's also really good to note that at the bottom, it already tells you if you want to go in the specific absentee owners and everything, that the more filters you put in, that the numbers will get lower and lower. So if you want to just click on one of those, you can go from there.
Absolutely. Those pain points down at the bottom. So look, we got a more pointed list now. They're all 65 or older. 5,255 people. This is a list that I'm comfortable skipping. So what I'm going to do next, y'all, go to my filters. I'm going to save this. I'm going to call it Eric's list. I can create a quick filter for Eric. There we go. Love it. This is literally how I'm going to remember what filters I use. So then we got all these. I saved it already, so we're good to go. Sorry. But y'all, that's how I skip. Jasmine, I hope that helped you. What I'm going to do next, and I'm going to trace those people. I'm going to plug them into Podio, and I'm going to let my team start calling. So
thank you so much.
No problem. I hope that brought value to some of y'all.
Absolutely.
Definitely did.
Love it. Love it. Cole, what you got, bro?
I was kind of curious. You said upload to Podio. Like, can you just take the like the CVS or CVS, whatever it is, and upload it straight from Podio?
Yes. Yep. CSV file. Save it as a CSV file. Yeah. You can upload it straight to Podio, or you can upload it straight to Call Tools. Let them start making the calls. It's whatever method you use.
Okay. All right.
Tanner, what's up? Tanner Harris, what you got, man?
Hey, you were talking about Podio. Do you have a lot of Podio marketplaces for like a lot of VAs? Like, are you branched out like decently when it comes to that?
When you say Podio, what do you mean, bro?
Basically, like, do you have more than one like Podio that you got going? Like, I know you have VAs that you keep talking about, but do you have like multiple VAs in like multiple markets?
Yes. Now all my VAs are in Venezuela for reasons here in the Midwest. But yeah, I have they all use Podio. It's just seats. So you can purchase seats in Podio, or user accounts. I think Podio calls them seats. I can't remember. But basically it's one Podio system and I just pay per month per seat. So as I add a person, it's like $25, I think.
All right.
What do you pay the people in Venezuela?
$4.
Oh man.
Well, you got somebody better?
No, I was paying $7 in the Philippines.
Oh yeah.
I ain't even know you can get them that cheap. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like $4 an hour, or how does that work?
No, $4 a month, bro. No, I'm just playing. Yeah,
Oh.
$4 an hour.
Okay. I'm like, damn, that's cheap.
I can get you better.
What'd you say?
Yeah, I had just another question.
Go ahead, Cole, what you got?
Where do you go to get the VAs?
Upworks.
Upworks. Okay.
I can show y'all that too.
I don't know if you've been getting blown up to, if you just go on a Facebook group, you'll probably have like 10 people reach out to you.
That's very true. That's very
You
true.
know, I had somebody from Batch Leads today reach out to me because I got the dialer. And they were saying that, do you need any VAs? I'm like, no, not right now.
Yeah, bachelors are some closers, bro.
For anybody looking for a caller, I have 3 girls that are really good. They're going to be around, like, maybe you can get them at $5 an hour. Like I said, I was paying them $7. So if anybody wants them, I'm not using them at the moment. They're great. I was with these girls for years. So if you guys want them, just hit me up. I'll get you guys in contact.
Yeah, five's not bad, bro. Five's actually really good.
Yeah, I think that I was hustled a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you want? They're like, 7. I was like, all right, cheaper
Yeah.
than the US, sure.
Yeah,
Hey,
right.
Tez.
And they're gonna work harder than the US because that's just the truth. But the biggest piece when it comes to these VAs though, y'all, is like just like everything. When you're a wholesaler, you're a salesperson. I sold them on me. I'm gonna be honest with you. I said, hey, I'm not looking for just another employee. I'm looking for somebody who's going to be a part of the family. I'm looking to extend my family tree. I want you to be a part of it. I want you to grow with me as I grow, but I need some help. Here's what I need. Upworks, how much do Upworks charge you? So once I pay you $5, how much do you actually get? They're going to tell you, well, I got to pay them fees. They charge me this. Okay, cool. So somebody who's making $5, typically they're probably only making $3.50. No more than $4, I guarantee it, right? So when you got them on the phone, you say, hey, what if I paid you through PayPal? I paid you directly, except I actually paid you $5. And they're like, okay, I like that because I'm not getting that now. Yeah, okay, cool. So look, I'll pay you $5, but I want to save $1 for 90 days. Once we make it to the 90-day mark, I'm going to give you $1 raise. How does that sound? Yeah, because look, again, guys and girls, they're not making that money. They're not making it. You're basically telling them you're going to get them that, and they will never see that money from Upworks. They're going to negotiate with you. But here's the big piece. Not only are you saving money for the first 90 days to see if they work out, most people put their best foot forward for 90 days. I never judge a person and tell them they're doing good or none of that, or believe they're actually doing good until after 90 days of them proving it. Okay, so they're going to work their butts off for 90 days so they can get that $1 raise. Here's what you do in the first 2 weeks. You give them a bonus of $100, just a bonus, a random bonus. If their performance is good, you do not reward them for their performance. Why? I learned this from managing salespeople. When you give them a bonus for their performance, if they continue to perform well, they're going to expect what?
The bonus.
The bonus. Okay, so I don't reward you for a bonus. I reward you because you're part of the family. That's going to keep you engaged. It's behaviors, y'all. And if you've never managed people before, these are people you're managing. These ain't just people, oh, I'm giving them money. They're going to perform. They're going to find a way to do the bare minimum to make the money that you're paying them. That's what employees do. So you have to drive behaviors for performance.
Absolutely.
This is $1 million game, yo. I learned this I'm serious with you. Look, if you if you have the proper behaviors in place and you put these incentives and you put opportunities for growth in front of people, they will work way harder than you coming out saying, hey, I'm going to pay you this per hour. Okay, they know now that's the ceiling. There's no opportunity for growth. Most people leave big companies because they can't grow. So, y'all, seriously. But
yeah,
anyway.
you absolutely need something to kind of incentivize them to do more, because the other big hiccup too is like they're not from the US. So they don't understand real estate here in the US. I spent hours. I mean, every day I go 2 hours before I had a few of them going at one time. I spent a couple hours, 2 hours every single day of role playing, trying to teach them real estate, maybe invested a little more time than I should have. That was in the beginning. But for me, you can do whatever you want in this game. That's what I love about it. I would tell them like, hey, land a contract or, get a good lead that turns into a contract. I'll be the one to turn it into a deal and I'll pay you. I had it at $200 and $200. That's a lot of money over there.
Yes,
They're
it
like,
is.
damn, like that's what they're making almost an entire month.
Yep.
And so that also drove them, like what you're saying, to not only, really try and be good at being on the phone. They would literally call each other when I wasn't paying them for them to role play. They'd be doing their own homework on YouTube about wholesaling. Eric, I learned this in a video. What do you think about this? And it like you said, there has to be some incentive for them to get better and for them to perform good. And
Absolutely, bro.
that's everywhere too.
Yeah. Any sales environment, any environment, period. If there's not incentives for people to perform, they're going to do the bare minimum so they can get their money. If they told you, hey, I'm going to hit 1,000 calls, they're going to get, I'm going to make 1,000 calls a day, Eric, I promise. They're going to get 920 calls consistently.
We're all guilty of that.
Yeah. Oh, I
Working at
know, because I was an
W2.
employee.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I got an hour before I leave. All right, cool. Texted my buddy, like,
you're going to milk it.
Yeah, I'm gonna milk it. I'm gonna go to the bathroom for 30 minutes. Like, we were all employees, man. So yeah, dude. Blaze, what you got, bro?
You said you would show us that site. Is that possible? You can still do that?
Yeah, bro, I can show you. No problem. Eric, I'm good?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna show y'all another nugget. I'm glad y'all are asking these questions because I still got some of my students on here. They're soaking the game up. They're not asking anything, but they're here, and I love that. So absolutely, I want them to learn too. So here it is, Upworks with an X.
I find that knowledge is more important than most things, so I like to ask all the questions that come to my mind.
I love it, bro. I love it. But here's the website. I mean, I can log into mine, but I really don't. I don't feel like it, but I will. Whatever. I will. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. I don't feel like doing all this, but here's the website, Upworks. If you want me to, I'll add the link in the.
It's really straightforward.
Yeah, it is. www.upworks.com, bro. Super easy stuff.
Hey, Taz, do you mind if I ask a question real quick?
No, I don't mind, bro. That's what everybody's been doing for the last hour.
So you did mention about, getting these VAs. What I wanted to ask, what do you do for training purposes? Like, how much time do you spend for training? Because that's the most important thing. You are training them for X number of hours, and then on top of that, you have to keep an eye on them, whether they're performing, and how do you measure their performance versus.
Great question, bro. Excellent question. So, my mastermind students, I give them something that I think would help you, but I can't give it to you. But I will tell you, I have roles defined in my company. Every role that I hire for, they know exactly what they're supposed to be doing. So example, if I want to hold Jasmine to a standard of what she should be doing, but right now, if Jasmine said, Tez, what are all the roles that I should be doing? And I have to go, or you need to know that the person you hired has to go, or throughout the day. They don't know what they're doing if you don't know what they're doing. And the only way for you to ever hold them accountable is for you to get everything you expect from them on paper, in writing, and you get them to sign it. Because when it's time to hold them accountable, it's easy to let them go. But here's the biggest thing. Every hour Eric spent training those people, I guarantee you he recorded those calls. Personally, I'm hopping on Zoom. Let's say Jasmine, somebody works for me. I'm hoping she's not, but let's say she was. I'm hopping on Zoom with her. I'm going to walk, like how I just walk y'all through that. I'm going to record that entire thing. I'm going to put it in the Google Drive. I will never talk about that again. When my VA comes on, because the biggest thing with people, they keep VAs and cold callers around way longer than they should be, and employees in general, because they're afraid that they're going to have a hole in their business. I'm not afraid of that, because I have training videos for hours and hours and hours that when a new VA comes on, hey, I'm going to pay you for the first 2 days, get through these videos, take notes, and they're geared up and they're ready to go. My next VA is. But if you're not smart to record everything and document everything like a business owner should, you're going to be stuck in your business explaining everything to everybody new and afraid to let old people go when it's their time to go. You have to document and you have to record. That's the biggest lesson.
Yeah. And I don't know, you could probably tell me with Batch, I know a lot of the dialers, they allow for the calls to be recorded on the system. And so when I was using the Red X dialer, I don't know if Batch has it, all those calls that they were making were recorded. So like we would just pick random ones, and when we do the meetings, it'd be like, hey, you messed up here. Why'd you give this guy attitude? And then man, we were so strict in our business. But
Can I add to that?
yeah, they would sometimes, let me just finish this thought though.
Yeah, no problem.
Sometimes they would cut out, like they'd let the dialer run, and then they would just not actually pick up the phone. And then they thought they were slick with that. So then what I said is, all right, great. Well, I paid for a Zoom. It could be open 24/7. It's recorded. You're going to be on Zoom with your camera on for the entire ship. And to be honest, they weren't too happy about that, because I told them, like, look, I don't want to see you on your phone. The screen is recorded, so don't leave the dialer. You're getting paid to work the dialer. That's all you're doing. You're not going to Facebook. You're not hanging out. That's it. Record it and then send me the recording in email. I didn't watch all of them, but they know, like, oh man, I'm on camera. Eric can see me and he can see my screen. There's no way to kind of cut corners or be lazy with it. Sorry, Cole, what were you going to say?
Major nugget.
No, fire, bro. You're right. I was just going to say that Batch dialer does record phone calls. Yeah, you have the option for that.
Yeah, definitely record all of them.
That was a good nugget right there, man. That's good stuff, Eric.
Been taken advantage of too many times. You gotta start plugging in stuff like that.
Same here, bro. Same
Tez,
here.
you mind if I ask you a quick question that has nothing to do with Batch?
No, bro, go ahead.
All right. So first half, I appreciate all this info. I mean, you and Eric are definitely similar styles in some ways, but different in others, which is great. So thank you for coming on today. I think we all appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
And the next thing is, when you're doing, you're buying and holding properties, what are you putting them under? Are you putting them under your LLC or?
I'm sorry, bro. You said, am I putting them under my LLC or am I doing what?
Or put them into a trust or under your name? What are you putting those properties that you own under?
Oh, I'm putting them into the LLC because I'm getting a commercial loan on them.
Okay. Just curious, simple question. Thank you.
Yeah, well, once I get to 10, J. Chris, I want to answer that wholeheartedly. Once I get to 10 properties in one LLC, I'm starting another LLC.
Gotcha. Yeah,
obvious reasons I wouldn't want anybody to penetrate it. There's something else out there called a series LLC, and I was thinking about setting it up. Essentially, what a series LLC is, it's supposed to be one. It's supposed to perform as if it's one LLC. And then every property in that LLC is protected separately, as if they're thought out separate. Now, these have never been tested in any court. It's just came. I think it's only been around for like 7 or 8 years. Eric probably can search and find out. But it's expensive to set it up. But essentially, it's supposed to protect all your properties within one LLC, like a series. But I set it up, and it was expensive. My CPA told me to set it up, and then I got other professionals who are like, dude, it's never been tested in court. And when I'm saying court, what I'm saying is, like, if a tenant gets hurt at a property, or if somebody wants to sue you, somebody wrecks into your car, whatever, you wreck into somebody and they find out who you are and they want to penetrate and oh, this dude Eric owns 2.0 LLC and he has 100 properties. Well, if this happened, they can only sue one LLC. Does that make sense? So if they come after, let's say somebody got hurt in my property and they want to sue me, the LLC that's on their lease agreement. Okay, they can't penetrate any of my other LLCs. So that's the only value I see of having 10 properties in one and then 10 properties in another. When I get to 10, I'm switching the LLCs up because I don't want to be sued. I take care of people, but if I ever am, I want to be protected.
I'm sure you have an umbrella policy as well. I do. You have an umbrella policy protecting you outside of the typical homeowners insurance.
I got commercial insurance. If that's what you're asking.
No, umbrella. So my umbrella policy covers everything. I mean, if I'm
on my personal side,
yeah, it'll protect your business as well.
On my personal side, I mean my business.
Yeah, your business, yes, but sometimes it'll surpass that. Average person has $1 million coverage on their business. That's probably around what you have, correct?
General liability. Yep.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
That only goes so far, especially nowadays. You know, it's very easily
Exactly.
to be sued for $5-10 million. I have a $5 million umbrella policy. So basically, if my son was to even get into a car accident or even slander somebody and were to be sued, I'm protected. I'm covered. It covers me under every aspect. You know,
Yeah,
slander,
I gotta
accident,
look
fight.
into that.
Yeah, it's just worth it, and it's not that much. I pay $118 a month, and I'm covered for $5 million.
Yeah, I gotta know. Yeah. Thanks, Jay Chris.
So yeah, instead of having to drop everything in all these different LLCs, because it's going to be tough at the end of the year when it comes to taxes.
Yeah,
And
it
it's going to
is.
be really hard to break those down. And the more properties you have under the same belt, the more write-offs you could do. So splitting them up is going to be a little tough. So just look into that umbrella policy, and every 10 houses you get, up it by another $1 million.
I
Spend
like
another
that,
20
bro.
20 bucks a month. It's not going to.
Thank you, man. Because my CPA is making some good money, man. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem, bro.
Yeah, like crazy money, man. Cole, what you got, bro?
I was kind of wondering, I'm not sure if you'd be able to answer it or if Eric would be able to answer it. Like, Eric, you know, you say that you have people, you know, people in the server or in the group that is, you know, under 17 or 18, like 17, 16. I was kind of wondering, like, as far as I can tell, you can 1099 contract somebody out, you know, give them a 1099 form. I was just wondering about, like, if I was to hire someone who was 17 years old, almost 18, if they would be able to call on houses and lock the deals up, I would just have to sign. Would that be a possibility, or?
I don't see why that would be an issue. I'll tell you, every law is going to be different. So I don't want to give you advice for your market. Yeah, I mean, every state law is going to be different.
Yeah, I'm in Florida.
Okay.
I mess with Florida, mostly Florida and Pennsylvania.
Here in Oklahoma, you just got to be 18 years old to buy and sell real estate. I think they can pretty much do everything else. So, but honestly, man, I haven't ran into it. I would hate to give you bad advice.
Yeah, that's why I said I wasn't sure if you could tell me or if Eric could tell me. I just figured I'd ask if any of you guys knew.
Someone like 12 years old, they can claim money.
I'm sorry.
They just can't. Yeah, they just can't be like a W-2 worker. That would go against the whole labor law gig. But
they can only make up to like 12,000, though, right? No, you can only write off up to 12,000, right?
Yeah, it's only right up to 12, right off up to 12,000.
Okay, there's no limit on how much they make though. So okay,
not that I've seen.
Like there's 16-year-olds with Shopify stores making bank.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
These, these YouTube stars that was 12, 13. Look at that 6-year-old.
Yeah, well, my brother, he was 16. He had a Shopify store. He made multiple, 6 figures on it.
Yeah, no, I knew.
16 years old in high school, and I think though, actually, to run that back, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if he was able to file. Like, I think he was able to claim the money, but the Shopify store had to be in my mom's name or something like that because he was 16. But I'm pretty sure he was the one that had to claim all the money on the taxes because it went to his bank account.
Yeah, no, I mean, like my thing was like, I mean, I figured it wouldn't really be because they're pretty much just making a phone call.
Yeah.
That it wouldn't be necessarily against the law or illegal. I just wanted to check on that.
Most def, man.
You could always donate the money to him.
Let's set up set up a foundation in their name.
You could be a charity. You're helping them out.
Great tax write-off.
There's so many things you could do.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. S&R, what's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah, that's it. You got it.
Yo,
how you doing, brother?
What up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for coming on, supporting Eric.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
All right. Not from a psychological standpoint, but from methodical, what would you list as the main salient points that contributed to your turn, your pivot from where you were to success?
My main selling point?
The main steps that you took that brought you towards getting deals.
Bro, I'll tell you, making the process about the seller. Hear me out on this, right? Most people, when they walk in to see a house and they're looking to make an offer, they walk in and they start asking interrogating questions about the house. So when's the roof? When's the roof? You know, what's the HVAC? And they're not engaging with the seller. I'll tell you right now, my biggest motivation and the thing that set me apart when I know you're gonna think I'm cliche, especially people on the East Coast. Y'all don't feel all that heartfelt shit. You know, I know y'all a little rougher around the edge, but I'm telling you right now, in Oklahoma, you know, anywhere you go, if I go out to New York and I come in with my approach, no matter how crappy they treat me, if I'm kind, I'm gonna get the deal. I don't care if you're paying more. Honestly. If I care about them more and I know exactly why they're selling a property, the way I follow up is different than how you follow up. Think about it. When you walk in, you make it about the property and you say, okay, you want 98,000, perfect. I'll give you 98,000. And they say, wait, let me think about it. What are you going to say next? Why? Why are you going to think about it? I'm giving you 98,000. Well, what if I know that the reason they're selling their house is because their kid is sick somewhere and all these, you know, all these components. So when I follow up and they tell me, let me think about it, I can say, hey, I'm here to help you. I just want to understand. I know that, you know, you're trying to take care of your problem with, you know, your son who's sick with this illness. And I know selling this property is going to do that. I want to help you. Let's get this house under contract. What is it? Is it me? Did I not explain it well enough? I can ask those questions because I've built a relationship with them. You can't ask those questions. You're forced to offer more money. So when you follow up, what's your approach? I'm going to offer them more money and try to get them to sell it. Well, what if money ain't why they're selling it? What if it's really to heal their kid? And I can follow, when I follow up, I can ask those questions. I'm not asking about the house. I'm not asking if they want to sell it. I'm saying, how's your kid? I know it sounds cliche. I'm telling you, but I've gotten more deals from people know, liking, trusting me than ever it being about more money.
Can I tell you something, Tez? You're 100% right. My sister was selling her house in Ronkonkoma. They took 10,000 less on the house because the buyers wrote a note. They wrote a heartfelt note and she actually took 10 grand less for that. So you're right.
Wow.
You treat people good, they'll return it.
100%. And Jay Chris, what market you in, bro?
New York.
New York. Yo, listen, I'm not, no shade. New York, I visit New York, and maybe not everybody in New York is like that. But here in Oklahoma, like we're like, you know, we hold the door for each other, and you know, we say excuse me, and we say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, and you know, like the southern like hospitality is real in Oklahoma, Texas, and all those places, right? When I go to New York and I visit the East Coast, people are like, yo, get out of my way, right? Like, like stop talking to me, don't smile at me, right? Like it's not it. So like for that to be something that happens on the East Coast too, and for them to be like, yo, this person cared about me, I'm gonna, you know, the Asian demographic got it right? The biggest thing in the Asian demographic that they talk about is reciprocity. And it's one of the most important things in our culture. Now, when we talk reciprocity, when we share reciprocity with somebody, it's like, yo, Eric, I give you this, you give this back, right? I give you this. And if you never, ever make it about that, like most people, they walk in and say, okay, I offer your price, give me your house. No, what I like to do is I walk in, I find out what you're going through. I get in that pain with you. I want to spend time in that pain. Most people, they want to move on. Eric, what's next? Oh, you're moving to Florida? I love the beach. I love Florida. No, that's not why Eric is moving. He would have done that a long time ago. He's moving because something is going on in his life that has changed dramatically that makes him want to go. I just want to spend my last few years there in Florida. Your last few years. Tell me more about that. Well, man, I just found out that I'm going to be, you know, whatever. I have this sickness. I have what? Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. So make your process about the seller, not about money. SNR, I hope that helps you, bro.
Well,
100%.
The first question is, how did you sniff out the East Coast? That was like the first thing you said.
You said sniff it out?
You sniffed it out. You said that after I spoke. You mentioned
oh,
the East
yeah,
Coast.
I heard your accent.
You're okay. Okay, I'm not there, but I was there with Jay Crisp and whoever else. I did that. If you were on a call with us in Eric's room, I basically said the same that you did, that the most important thing is getting people to like you so that they will trust you. And I've been through it all in the sales on that level. So I agree 110 with you on that. I've been in that seat. I wanted to hear, I guess for myself, more of the methodical moves, because that's my catch up right now.
Okay.
I was doing real estate before a lot of you guys was playing video games. So yeah, real talk. So yeah, I'm looking at what you were doing along the lines of your buyers list, you know, follow-up techniques. I'm looking at the methodicals. I'm learning from Eric right now. I'm getting back into the game. Got the Rust-Oleum, getting the rust off. And That's my catch up. I got no problem with the sale.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll
I
probably
think the
come on
biggest thing is,
and teach a little bit more about the sales piece myself. But that's
yeah,
excellent how you're handling them, paying attention to what it is they're going through. And I did that for years, brother. So that's the best advice that was given tonight on this call, if you guys are paying attention.
thanks, brother.
That's what's
Thank
going to get you through. Even when you're not sharp on your numbers, you could flip flop and mess up and stutter. But if they like you, they'll find a way to walk through this thing with you.
Man, amen. SNR, you'll have somebody in front of you and they'll say, well, you know, I've had this happen. So, well, you know, I really need this price. And it's like, listen, I understand, but I'm an investor, like I told you, and I have to make money. Otherwise I can't buy the house. In order for me to do what I need to do, of course, I want to help you, you know, I want to help you too. But in order for, you know, for us to work together, I need you to help me. Can you help me understand how I'm supposed to make that work? And get quiet. Watch them try to figure it out for you. If you build enough reciprocity, enough rapport, that person is now working to help you figure it out. Well, you know what? I mean, maybe I can file a claim on my roof and that way you don't have to pay for the roof.
Right.
You know what? Yeah, that would help me.
Right. They may be on the fence about a little point that you don't know about. But as soon as they got that feel good with you, then they start pulling those things out the bag. You had no idea.
Wrap. It's a wrap for anybody else, man. For anybody else that comes in that appointment, because they're going to come in there and make it about the property. Period. If you make it about the house and about offering them more money and I walk in after you, you're done.
So let's talk mechanicals. Let's talk mechanicals, methodical pieces. That's my catch up right now.
Okay.
What do you think as far as your process outside of the sales? You got it. You're golden there. What do you believe were your most salient steps that created the pivot point where you were stressing out, you know, in debt to doing this thing, and then all of a sudden, deal. What was the point? What were the series of pieces? Maybe 3 steps. What do you believe they were?
What I did was I went all in on PPC. I stopped being afraid of PPC. I stopped being afraid of putting that money out there. I also went all in on VAs. You know, my turning point for me is I got away from believing that people in America actually want to work harder than people in other countries. To be honest with you, it's nothing against our people. Our people are just very spoiled, and because of that, they're going to milk everything, and they're not going to work as hard. Another big piece that I switched in my personal market, I'm gonna be honest with you, SNR, is that if I'm in the Midwest, and I hinted to this earlier, but this is going to be a major nugget for all my students. Anybody in Oklahoma, Texas, listen to me. Florida is not like this. New York is not like this. So this advice probably won't apply to you. But here in the Midwest, there's 3 accents. There's 3 types of majority of cultures here. There's Black people, white people, Hispanics. That's it. Like anybody in Oklahoma would agree. Jasmine, would you agree? The majority of our race.
Yes, definitely.
The majority of our race is Hispanic, Black, and white. We got a lot of mixed people, sure, but still Black people, right? So I'm saying this for a very good reason. There's only certain types of accents people are used to here. You can have a ghetto Black accent, you can be successful. You can have a white old boy, you know, country good old boy accent here, you'll be successful. You can have a Hispanic accent, you can be successful. The moment you throw a Philippine accent in there, you're gonna get hung up on. Period. Period.
Customer support from overseas.
Customers, bro, it is a scam. Everybody here, every good old boy here, every Black person here, every Hispanic. Can you imagine getting a Hispanic on the phone with somebody in the Philippines? They both barely speak English, dude. You're not going to get anything accomplished. So the value that I have with Hispanics here, with a Hispanic who speaks English and Spanish, is because when they talk to somebody who's Hispanic, they can speak and build a bond like no other. But when it's a Black or a white person answering the phone for that Hispanic, they just heard that accent down at the damn 7-Eleven. They're good. They're golden. So that was a huge change for me and shift for me in my market. So you just got to identify things that you're not thinking about. Everybody, bro, we're skipping the same list. I don't care to show you how I skip my list. We're skipping the same data. Me and Eric probably skip the same damn data if I'm skipping in his market. What's going to be the difference? There's little tweaks in your business that you have to make. And those three were big for me, man. So there you go.
All right. Appreciate that.
Yep. Tanner Harris. Oh, actually, I think Jasmine was first. Jasmine, what you got?
Sorry, I was unmuting myself. This kind of goes along with what we were talking about. I'm looking at Upwork and I'm trying to figure out, like, so how are you specifically finding only Venezuelan VA callers? Are you just scrolling through this?
I'm looking for, like, you can just throw Mexico in there.
Okay.
And it's gonna be a widespread for that. You can actually search by the country.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can do that. You got US only on there, and you can search by the country.
Okay.
But you have to create a job. So, like, you got to create a job. Once you create a job, it's gonna ask for your, like, ideal candidate, and then you can filter by that.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Tanner Harris, what's up, bro?
Not much. I just got a question. Going back to when you guys were talking about like having the Series LLC and everything. So wouldn't you just want to go about like having a holding company that only you were under, and then having that holding company be the owner of an LLC to like have full anonymity?
I mean,
You can't. You want me to take this, Tez? You can't.
You got it, J. Chris.
Yeah, so you can't be considered a holding company, unless you're actually, a holding company. So in New York and many other states, at least half or if not more, you cannot actually make a holding company unless you are legit a holding company, which is kind of odd to say. So you have to already be pre-established with a certain amount of access to a bigger portfolio. So somebody like us who's just starting out, or even has under five houses, or even maybe 10, 15 houses, you can't be a holding. So try to start up an LLC that has the word, let's just say Tez Holdings. They won't do it for you unless you show proof that you actually are considered a holding company, that you spend $250,000 a year, that your holdings are worth 2.5 million, or et cetera, et cetera. There's a big criteria to it. So you can't open up a holdings company. You just can't do it. I don't think I explained that well, but I tried doing it a long time ago, calling myself something holdings, and they're like, oh, okay. So, and they wanted all this criteria and all this information from me. And I'm like, is this just another stupid New York thing? And they're like, no, actually, majority of the states do this now. So they do it for reasons of scams, et cetera, but you can't be considered a holdings company. There's a very big hoop you have to jump through to do that. Does that help you?
That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense now.
Yeah.
And then I just had another question for you, Tez. So when you said that like you really only have like 3 cultures in the Midwest, the white, black, and Hispanic, how'd you go about with like your VAs then for that? Because you said you normally do Venezuelan VAs.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. What do you, I do want to understand what you're asking more, just so I don't say the same thing twice. You mean like, how did I hire them?
Not exactly how you hire them. More of like, are you still going for like Venezuelan ones, or just like ones that don't have an accent?
They can be anywhere. They can be anywhere that speaks Spanish, brother. I'll tell you another good place. I just don't want them to have here's the thing. Here's the biggest piece, Tanner. I don't want them to have a Middle Eastern accent, and I don't want them to have an Asian accent.
Okay.
I don't want them to have a Russian accent. I don't want them to have an accent that's not familiar here.
Oh, almost like it's a Spanish person here in the U.S.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
That's the big difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you don't know if this person is talking to you from, around the corner. That's the biggest thing. That's what you want. You want them to assume that the person is like down the street in their market. So that's the biggest mental shift there, Tanner. Now in Florida, it don't matter. You got every race in Florida. I've had great success with Middle Eastern people calling people in Florida.
The other little trick too that you guys could do is I would give them reference points in the city. That way it sounded like they're local. You know what I mean?
That's fire. That's fire.
Like no certain main roads, and they'd be able to like, oh yeah, we were looking at one right off of 209 the other week. Or like, yeah, you know where the Turkey Hill is, the gas station, you know, right on 611. Yeah, back there we pick one up, and then it sounds like they're
that's
in, you know,
good.
they live right there.
Yeah, I like that.
That helped a lot.
I like that,
Yeah,
bro. That's good.
that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
There's
Is it every dinner?
so many little tricks. It's
Yeah.
endless, and nobody's gonna pick them up overnight. Tez knows so much that I don't know, and vice versa. You know,
Vice versa.
and it's just time, consistency, patience. I tell you guys that all the time.
A lot of time, bro. A lot of money at marketing and
Trial and error.
Yeah, trial and error, man. That's why it's good to partner up with people who are already doing it. You know, that's why I have my, you know, all my students, and Eric has a great Zoom call of all of y'all, and it's y'all are doing it the right way. You know, ain't no reason to get out here and try to reinvent the wheel. If you got somebody who got years of experience, you're gonna skip a whole lot of steps. So keep the questions coming, y'all. No dumb question. No dumb question. Cole, what you got, bro?
I was just kind of wondering, like with the VA assistants, would you just kind of pay them as same as a as just paying somebody like as a what's the thing called? What's it called? An acquisition agent, like just through 1099?
You said, I'm sorry, dude. I'm reading the chat. I'm trying to see what questions are. You said what, bro? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. So when you're paying VA, like how would you go about showing that on your taxes? Would you have to send them
it's
like
a
a
it's a
1099
marketing
or?
expense. It's a
Oh,
marketing expense. Yeah.
Oh, cool. That makes it a little simpler.
Yep. I'm not paying an employee. They're not. Nope. It's a marketing expense.
Okay.
That's what
All
my
right.
CPA does, bro. I lean on my CPA. I am not a CPA, and I'm not giving you legal advice, but please lean on your CPA, man.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if my CPA would know any of this. I mean, I have a whole accounting firm that I kind of talk to. There's a bunch of people.
Okay.
One thing to note though, Cole, like most CPAs and accountants, they don't care about you. They'll give you like some nuggets, you know, like, oh wow, I didn't know that. They're not really looking to save you money.
That's true.
You know, at my CPA, he was, you know, on Wall Street for 30 plus years and been in accounting his entire life. And I'm still educating him on stuff that I'm picking up on YouTube. I'm watching YouTube videos. I'm like, whoa,
1000%.
Can we get it any lower? No.
Yeah.
Well, how about this? I never heard of that. Send him
Yeah,
the
no,
YouTube
that's-
video. He's like, oh yeah, we could do that. We could do that.
You know, that's one
1000%.
thing. That's one thing that Robert Kiyosaki always said. He said that if your accountant ever says that you can't do it, always go and look for a third party.
Yeah,
Go look for somebody else that'll tell you otherwise.
Yeah, I'm gonna
If you
stop
go to
tipping
multiple
my,
people.
my CPA.
That actually has happened. That actually has happened.
Yeah,
What'd you say,
yeah.
Jason?
I actually tip my CPA, but after talking to you, you know, when you said I can basically get my houses with, you know, basically paying no taxes, he's never told me anything like that. So I'm gonna stop tipping him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I give him Christmas bonuses every year. I dish out like $5,000 on outside family and Christmas bonuses for people.
Wow.
And it's not worth it anymore because I feel like it's just a regular thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
And you're right,
You
they
know-
don't go above and beyond. They're just doing the basics.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Robert, he always said, you know, like get a few opinions, and if everybody says it's impossible, then it's more than likely impossible. It's more
When
than
there's a
more
will,
than likely not
if
legal.
there's a will, there's a way.
I mean, you could do it illegally, but
there's
that's not good.
endless loopholes, like
Well,
endless.
yeah.
There, I'm sure that even Robert being a billionaire, I'm sure there's still a lot that he doesn't know.
Of course,
from someone with hundreds of billions, you know,
of course.
always new information.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I agree. All right,
Yeah.
y'all. What else we got? Any other questions?
Hey, Tez, can you hear me?
Yo, Charlie, what up?
Oh. Yeah, hey man, quick question. Hold on, I had my question written down. Hold on, let me pull it up. Okay, yeah, hey, is email through batch, is it worth it?
Email through batch?
Yes. You know how you could, well, not email, sorry, like sending mail.
Oh, direct mail?
Yes.
I don't do direct mail, bro.
Oh, okay.
Charlie, I don't do direct mail. The only time I do direct mail, to be honest with you, is when I'm being very intentional with the people I'm mailing. So it's got to be something I'm already having contact with. They got to be somebody who's already told me they want to sell their property, or, you know, we haven't agreed on price, or they're not responding to me, but I've talked to them. So like a warm lead. Personally, this is just me. I don't send mailers out cold unless it's like multifamily stuff. That's it. But
Okay.
that's just me.
It's
Yeah,
your
'cause
most it's your most expensive piece too. So yeah,
Very
definitely.
expensive. That's the reason I don't. That's the reason I don't.
Yeah. You can just if you just call them, you'll cut down that price quite a bit. I saw this
Or
one
door
kid,
knocking.
Tez, I don't know if you ever seen this. I met up with this one kid from North Carolina. He came down here not too long ago. His name's Landon. He's like doing TikTok stuff too. But he was telling me what he's up to. I've never done a mail campaign. I've only ever like had handwritten letters or like printed letters and put out a few hundred when I got going. And really got nothing out of it, maybe one lead or something like that. But this kid Landon, he showed me a piece of mail I've never seen before. What he does is he's sending these sellers, it's a check with the amount, with like a $250,000 with their name on it, with their address on it. It looks like a real check, or almost, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he said the response was like through the roof with how many people are like, oh, what's this?
I like that.
It
I
was
like
interesting. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Never seen anything like that.
I remember car dealerships was doing that back in the day.
Yeah,
They wanted
similar to
bring in
that.
their car, and that caught my attention like crazy. So no, I
Yeah.
can bet that works.
Yeah, it was interesting.
For sure, man. For sure. Any more questions, y'all?
I used to send out my mail like direct with I would have like the whole entire offer letter, and so it would show like this is the offer amount, this is your address. I had like the APN and everything.
I love it.
And I got response. I was doing it for land. I got some pretty good response on like half of them were like, say I had like 10 people out of like, I think it sent out like 1,000. So 20
bad.
people got back. Out of the 20, 6 of them were like, we'll do it at this price that you said. And I was like, okay, well, just let me verify the price is correct, because those are ballpark offers. So I still went back and like I had to adjust them or whatever. But yeah,
I like that, bro.
saying like a real offer and everything, they got people intrigued.
That's good. That's good. How scalable is that? I mean, with the land, it's probably not a list. You probably don't need to skip a list as large as we would with single, houses.
Yeah, it has to be like really narrow, because like the problem with land is that you have to verify that it is vacant land, right? One, because someone could have purchased it and there's already like maybe like the foundations on there or something. So it's a lot more difficult than like doing like if you're sending. I would imagine sending out like letters to lien people would be a lot easier than sending out letters to vacant land, because I would spend so much time just verifying that it was vacant.
Yeah. You got a good response rate though. I'm not mad at that. That's a good response rate.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Anybody? Oh yeah, my guy. Let's go. Justice, what you got?
I just got a quick question. It's off topic what y'all talking about, but whenever I went through the training, we are talking about the repair sheet. So say you got an appointment and you're going to look at the home and going to look for those different things. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that, what that looks like, because I've never done anything like that. So are you actually just going and looking at plumbing, HVAC, electrical, stuff like that, and just basing it off of what the repair sheet, the price that's on the repair sheet when you're checking boxes and stuff? Is that literally what it is?
That's really what it is. Now, a big question, like you're not gonna understand, you're not gonna be able to look at plumbing and know it needs to be updated when you're first getting started. I can do that because I've been doing it for a while, and now I invest, so I really know what it looks like. But when I just started out wholesaling, I really didn't know. So like, it's important for you to ask questions. Not only is it important for you to get it right, but it also shows that you know what you're doing. So
Right.
Justice, what I would do when I'm with somebody and I can't tell with the naked eye, but I need a box checked, I'm going to ask them, hey, I got a couple questions before we get done. I got all the other repairs. We've walked around. Thanks for showing me around. But do you mind if I ask you, how's the plumbing? Have you had any plumbing issues? Okay, what about electrical? Lights come on and off? Okay, cool. And you can ask them, when's the last time it's been updated and just stuff like that. And that's going to help you understand more about those things you can't see, with the naked eye. But the thing that you can see with the naked eye, you just add it all up. You know what I typically do, Justice, is if it's just me at the appointment, I go in and I'm like, hey, how are you? I built that rapport. I'm like, hey, your house, your rules, where do we start? Boom. After that, I said, you want to show me around? You want me to just kind of walk around? There's just, some personality types, they want to show you everything. And some people are like, just go do your thing. I like the people who want to show me. So I would urge you to have them show you, because you can build rapport while they're showing you. Okay.
Right.
Build rapport, asking questions as you're walking through. So how long you own the place? Why you want to sell the house? You know, and you're taking your notes. At the end of it, after you get all those repairs, what I'm going to tell a seller is, okay, look, I'm going to do the hard part, the part I hate the most. I'm going to do the math. I'm going to add up all the repairs that I see here, and I'll be with you in a sec. Is that okay? Absolutely. Okay, cool. Pull your calculator out, add them all up, total it up at the bottom.
Got you.
Does that help you, Justice?
Yes, that's great. Thank you.
Make sure you take photos too. Be like, hey, do you mind? Is there any rooms off limits? Always ask before you do anything that you think would be weird for somebody to do in your house. Ask them, although they know what you're there to do, and every one of them are going to say yes. Give them ask for permission always. Before you ask invasive questions, ask for permission always.
Okay. So
Eric,
for the things,
go ahead, Justice.
For the things that you can't see with the naked eye, are you literally just taking their word for it, or is there any point where you have like an inspector come through or something like that?
I'm taking their word for it because I don't want to spend money with an inspector and waste money on a deal that I may not be able to sell.
That's what I thought. Okay.
The other piece with that too is like, if something pops up and like it's not what they said, and your buyer's the one that discovered it, that's your piece to renegotiate. You didn't tell me the roof is leaking in the upstairs bedroom. I didn't even see that.
1000%.
Well, now it's going to be, I got to be at 50 instead of 55. And then I guess two other little things. There's so much you could do. If you get a good relationship with a buyer, hey man, I got this deal, and he's not going to cut you out, him or her. You want to do this walkthrough? I got a good lead. Maybe, we could work out something. Or even just a contractor. Hey, I'm thinking about buying this home. Would you give me a quote on the rehab? I want to fully update it. And then that could be another thing. They'd be like, oh, well, they might point stuff out that you're not aware of.
Got you.
There's so much you could do.
Yeah, that's a good tip, Eric. Hey, and that gives you a different perspective too, Justice. I like that, Eric.
That's a good question. Good question.
Yeah, great question. Anybody else got anything? Hey, Jasmine, what's up?
Hi. So I just have a couple of questions. First, I'm just curious if you've done any text message marketing yourself, and if so, like what is your experience with it? Is it something that is worth your time, or
texting is the most scalable? Texting is the most scalable and highest converting lead gen that I have in my business.
Okay, awesome.
And then people are going to respond with a text before they answer a call. Yeah. I've walked in houses where there's been, I'm not that tall, but I walked in houses where we had mailers taller than me on a table. And I got the deal, so, but text, and it was from a text, I text them, hey, you want to sell your house? Sure. What's the price? People love being able to text back and forth.
Okay. And you do all that on batch?
Yeah.
Okay. And then my second question was, I'm actually looking at a duplex that I'm possibly going to buy. It seems like it just needs mostly cosmetic work. And, my family and I know how to do a lot of that work, but I was just, because I read in a book, some of these investors made the mistake of doing the work themselves and losing money by doing it that way. But at the same time, I'm like, how are you losing money doing it yourself when you're paying contractors an additional fee to do everything? So
time.
Time. 100%, Jay Chris. I couldn't wait to say it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I made that mistake. In the beginning, I did everything. It took me, 400% the time, and I got killed on mortgage and tax, especially here in New York, paying $3,000 a month. I got crushed.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, Jasmine, time is money. The time you're spending in that house swinging that hammer, you could be looking for another deal.
Right.
I pay people to take my time, and I think that's I'm not wealthy by any means, and I don't consider myself rich, but I do think the secret with the wealthy is that they find people to buy their time back. That is 100% what they do. They want to buy
100%. 100%.
Yeah. One rule of thumb that I try and implement when I can, if the task at hand isn't worth $500 an hour, I won't do it.
Right.
And that kind of goes with everything, when it comes down to food, cutting your grass, doing your laundry. Obviously it's going to take time to where you can make those trade-offs to pay people to do those 100%. Petty little tasks. And the other piece with that is if you're going to pay somebody to cut your grass, that doesn't mean you go sit on the couch. You,
Mhm.
you got to go do something that's going to produce income.
Yeah. Hey, that's a huge nugget. We're not at, yeah, I love
Yeah.
that.
And
You
you know,
ain't doing shit. There's
Uh-huh.
no reason for you to do, yeah.
and
I agree.
you're not getting paid to swing the hammer.
Yeah.
You're getting paid to force equity into the home by getting it updated and then reselling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
paid swinging the hammer.
They're right.
Yeah.
I used to go to my properties for every little thing, a clogged toilet, light bulbs, batteries, every little thing. And then, I hired a handyman, and then anything, I'm not even bothered. And my son.
Yeah, exactly. My dad, he's a house flipper in Pennsylvania. We have we're very different in a lot of ways. And he had a construction company in New York. So like with him now flipping homes in Pennsylvania for the past 8 years, he was the guy swinging the hammer, him and one or two other like helpers or whatnot. And he just had the mindset of, I save money. Oh, I save so much money by not having to, hire a contractor. Now he's in his probably late 50s and he's finally, he's taking my advice. He's like, yeah, I can't keep doing this. I'm beating myself up. It sucks. I'm like, yeah, like why? And he just had the kind of like almost like not a scarcity mindset, but just like he lacking belief that he would be able to outsource it to somebody that could handle, that level of rehab or meet his expectations with doing the work. Like, oh, always making excuses. Oh, there's nobody good here. And, he's really good at, he's been building homes for 30 plus years. So like, it's just that mindset, like just give it up. even if it's not perfect to the extent of, how you would maybe do it, it's still going to get done. And these people that are the homestead buyers that are going to pick up these homes and live in them, they're not looking at the little speck of paint that's off in the closet. But it's those things, because he's kind of a perfectionist, where he'd point out these things when I was working with him. Oh, you got to fix this. You got to fix that. I'm like, it doesn't matter. And now he's finally at the point, he's like, damn, my son's right.
Yeah.
I got to stop swinging the hammer. The money's not made here. So
even in my business, it's like, if somebody can do something 80% as good as you, it's probably good enough. Like no one's ever going to do it as good as you. Like, right. Especially when it's something in your mind, you can do it better. And we all think that way, especially when someone has an expertise like Eric's dad, right? Like they know what they're doing, but my renter doesn't care. It's going to cash flow the same. Your property that you put barn doors up in, custom made at your house, mine, a little 6-panel doors, we're going to cash flow the same amount of money if our houses are across the street from each other. I guarantee it. So, except I save money on my rehab and I'm not into the property as much as you.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. That really clears things up a bit in my head.
Yeah. What were you saying, Jason?
Oh no, I was just saying, yeah, I agree 100%. I used to be like that, even with the Airbnbs. I would always have to be the one to go there and do everything from the laundry to the beds, and I just felt like I was the only one who could do it. And then I just had my son do it. A couple little complaints here and there, but it didn't affect my money much, so it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth the time I was losing with my family. It just wasn't worth it. The time I was losing on more deals, it just wasn't worth it.
Yeah, man. 100%.
And sometimes you will pay more money, but in stress and home life, it'll make up for it.
Yep. 100%.
For sure.
Oh, man. All right. iPhone user. iPhone hand raised.
Might have stepped away.
Yeah.
Before we start to wrap things up, does anybody have any other final questions?
No questions, but Tez, again, thank you so much. I really appreciate everything. I know we all do, and you definitely brought a different insight than Eric, and you're both great. Thank you.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you for chiming in, man. Adding the tips that you did, questions, and do the perspective and all that stuff, man. Thank you for being engaged and listening tonight. I got somebody who just signed up for the coaching. We go back to high school, and I see he just hopped in here, so I want to ask him. Alex, are you with us? Alex Carter. Oh man.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I had to unmute. I was catching all the good game, and I'm loving it.
I'm loving it. Hey, I'm glad you're in here, man. I know you've been wanting to jump into the wholesale game for a while. So, Alex, is there any questions right now, bro, that either Eric or I or anybody on this call can help answer? Is there anything you wondering about right now?
Man, honestly, it's all sounding like Spanish to me right now, but I'm, I I just joined, so I'm gonna learn and sit back, and once I get everything down, I'm gonna start asking questions.
Okay. Okay.
But
All right, bro.
I definitely did learn a lot today.
Okay.
I
Okay.
learned a whole lot. I wrote a whole lot down. It's all new to me. So
Yeah, you got a lot of influence, man. You got a lot of people that the moment you start saying, "Hey, I'm buying houses," you're gonna get a lot of people who say, "Okay, where at? What are you looking for?" And you having that influence is gonna help you in a whole lot of ways, bro. So I want to make sure you're apt and you're ready to go.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, you got a lot of respect from me. So
Yes, sir.
I'm sitting back and being a learner right now and learning new things. And I
Let's go.
appreciate it.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. iPhone
Miss
user.
Taz?
Oh, SNR. What's up, big dog?
Yeah, man. As soon as I get going with some deals here, I'm going to be hitting up Eric and the group, and we'll reach out to you too and see if we could combine forces to do something charitable, so we could raise up some other people that's suffering out here.
Okay.
Doesn't make any sense. We make bank while people are just hurting. So we could do something as two powerful groups. I'm looking forward to that.
I love that, bro. I love that. What market you in again?
I'm exploring right now. I'm out in New Mex, but I'm exploring right now.
Okay. New Mex,
So
huh?
yeah, I will let you know. I'm trying to crack that code right now.
Okay.
And one of the things I want to do is to put together some more statistics so we can see what's actually happening in markets across the board. So I've started on that research.
I think one thing I'm guilty about is that I watch a lot of data, but a lot of markets aren't like Oklahoma. We, on the West Coast, Cali and Arizona, and they got a roller coaster market out there. We're like a little baby roller coaster, like we don't really get hit a lot. So I'm just guilty of just kind of keeping my head down in my market and watching our data and ensuring my investments are good. But being able to know something from a standpoint of the entire country, I think is important. So I appreciate that.
There are a lot of factors. I mean, the consumer price index came out today, which doesn't include food or energy, and it was up. And the market had a bounce up, sell off, and trying to figure its way out of where we've been. We're in this huge bear market with this recession thing, but you have all of these factors. So, what's happening with the new home sales, what's happening with unemployment, what's happening with non-farm sales, all of these together, there's a bigger algorithm where we could come back and look at what's happening in various cities to see how they will be impacted. So let's just say
100%.
let's just say there's a job market in the city. You're going to have people flooding there, right?
Yeah.
When the jobs is drying up and the age median has a gap where you have the young and the very old, you don't have the same driving force. And then what's happening with crime? So it's out of control what's happening out in Chicago right now. They got this thing coming through where there's like no bail. It's going to be like one of these movies. It's going to be madhouse out there. So are they about to hit a bottom where we're looking at in the next 10 years? It's going to be going up? I don't know. So I'm trying to keep my eyes on the numbers.
Yeah.
And see what I could bring back to the group from that standpoint.
That's very interesting, SNR, because one thing that I look at, and I anticipated all these layoffs, and I think a lot of us investors did when we saw Eric's probably the same way. I had never in my business ever had to compete, at least in my market. I never had to compete with somebody who was going to live in the property. I was always competing with other investors. And, in 2020, 2021, when the market went crazy, you had people literally willing to live in anything so they can get a house. Right. So they will go buy a crap house and be like, I'll fix it up. I just want a damn house. I just want a house. I can't find a house anywhere. Right. So they're putting in 30 offers. They can't get approved. So then they go get the crappy house and they'll fix it up. And that crappy house is how I made my money. So when I started seeing all of that, I was like, okay, there's got to be something that's going to happen soon. So it started to happen. I was in high school back in 08 and 09. And I didn't graduate in 2010. But when you go back and you look at the data and what happened, you can anticipate the same type government structure for that. Like back then, yeah, we had predatory banking. We don't have the predatory banking now, but something that was a similarity is that although everybody was depressed, the interest rates actually dropped. They went up, and then throughout 2009, 2010, and 11, they dropped back down. Why were houses still not moving? Well, people had lost jobs in 2007, 2006, 2007, leading up to when they dropped the interest rates. So people couldn't buy houses although the interest rates were low.
Right.
I anticipate if you're an investor, this market is not a buyer's market or a seller's market. It's an investor's market. Yes, you have to have a higher interest rate when you buy it, but here's the truth. When the interest rates drop, all the investors who are picking stuff up now, when most people are scared, this is how the rich get richer. They buy when you're scared.
That's why you got a hedge fund in your portfolio. They got corporations right now that's been doing more buying than we could ever do, ever.
Yep.
They got, I mean, you got commercial real estate that's being converted into residential apartments.
Yes, sir.
That's huge game. So what does that say? They could sit on that long money and wait for the turn. They're waiting for the pivot.
They can also hurt
on the way back up.
SNR. They can also hurt our market. And I've seen it happen here in Oklahoma. See, back in 08, 09, we didn't have hedge fund buying here. We didn't have hedge fund buying here. We do now. So you know how you hurt a market if you got enough money to do it? Here's what you do. You go pick up a whole lot of real estate. You go into a certain area and you start offloading that real estate, pennies on the dollar, which hurts the comps.
Mm-hmm.
Which pushes little guys out like me who got fix and flips, 8 fix and flips on the ground. It hurts me. Now I got to accept less for my house. They hurt the comps. Now you can fix the game. You got enough money, you can fix the game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, if you're in a market where a hedge fund is lost or they've lost, and some actually have, and now they're offloading millions of dollars of real estate, they're hurting comps, dude. They are crushing your appraised value.
That's right. Let me tell you, I'm in the futures market, so I watch how the whales buy as the market is going down. They just keep buying. They just position themselves for pivots. And you can see this happen for weeks at a time, and they'll catch a move on the way back up to satisfy all of that risk that they took.
Mm-hmm.
So if you make that comparison to the real estate market, the same thing is happening right now. There's some positioning. We haven't hit the bottom yet. So we got to be mindful. Back in the 80s, the mortgage interest rates went up to double digits. So I don't know where we are right now, but if the Fed starts raising rates again in the 2-3, maybe we get some prices to drop on the home sales, but we may see the mortgage interest rates begin to rise again. I don't know.
They're having a meeting in February. I'm anticipating a rise. That's why it's a race to the bottom right now with my flips.
Yep.
You see it behind me on this board. These are all flips right here. These are all mortgage payments I'm paying. And I'm picking more real estate up. Don't get me wrong. I'm still buying. I'm just buying different. But it's a race to the bottom on my flips. I'm trying to offload. To your point, SNR, if they raise these rates, it's just going to get worse for me and guys like me.
I love what Eric, has taught, turned me on to, and that's how I tuned in. My fear is the job market getting hit when we're relying on tenants through our creative deals.
That's exactly now.
That's like the nightmare for
about that. Tenants will lose their job. It happened in 08. That's another trend I'll tell you about. So it happened in 08 and 09 and all of that, right? When you got big corporations like Amazon, they just said that they're going to lay off 18,000 people this year, right?
Right.
When jobs start laying off and these rents are inflated, investors are forced to bring their rents down to be competitive, right? It is what it is. But it's different when you have, it depends on the type of tenant that you let into your property. It's all up to you in terms of.
And it depends on the city and the job market. So yeah, all those factors. And we create an algorithm at the end. So yeah, when you're making that decision factor, it's how do you pick somebody that's going to be most stable? Exactly. And you may get that person, but what's the percentage now that's going to fall into those traps of the mega corporations doing layoffs?
Yeah.
It's just we're getting into a very weird territory. We don't know where we're going to land yet.
Yep.
But
every state is going to be different, bro.
I was around through some serious, foreclosure eras, and it's, PTSD, brother. It's just you don't want to be.
It's happening now, man. There's a lot.
I was in it on both sides, from the realtor standpoint side, selling those houses, those no income, no asset, joints that got people in there. And then I was on the other side helping those same people fight against the banks when they were in foreclosure. It's not a pretty scene.
So you were
And
doing like
right
loan
now,
mods? You do like loan modifications and stuff?
man, we were doing straight back then, man. We were just doing straight, no income, no assets, just getting
Oh,
people to look.
stated income.
That's right. Back in the day, it's like sign, just sign the paper. We'll get you in the house.
Stated income, man.
You know, whatever we had to do, we were making the sale. But then, you know, that was part of the whole subprime mortgage debacle, you know, where they were just bundling them joints and selling them with other securities. And then, you know, a ripple around the whole entire world. You know, it was major. So those bailouts that you saw with AG and all those companies, that's what saved us from going into the dark ages, right? So, I mean, if anything happens to the US dollar, we're screwed. And right now we're going into a very critical year with what's happening with the whole digital economy. Is the dollar going to maintain? These guys are playing some games at high stakes. So on the low end of it, having tenants with stable positions, you don't want to be in a state like Jay Chris was mentioning and someone else was talking about New York. Yeah, you know, they are very tenant supportive in states like that.
That's what we mean by blue when we say that. For anybody who don't know, that it's more tenant friendly and not landlord friendly.
That's right. 30-day notice to quit, and then landlord tenant court. You know, man, I kept somebody in that house so long. Man, every time the sheriff showed up, he was just tired of seeing my face because I would come back with an order to show cause. He actually balled it up and threw it in my face one time.
Wow.
This dude has to go and get his moving team. He's got 2 Mexican cats with the truck, and they're ready to box everything up. I'm breaking tire, taking lights, coming back from the courthouse with a document signed from the judge, right? It's an order to show cause with a temporary restraining order to stop the proceeding. Get back in the courtroom with another issue. So I personally kept tenants in their house for 8 months.
In New York?
1 year, 16 months. We did that.
In New York?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's why I'm dumping. I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, we listen. It was in New York, you know. So we had people coming from the whole region, and we were teaching out of my mentor's basement twice a week. We were giving consultations to attorneys, teaching them our technique. And after they learned it, their minds were blown, but they didn't even want to help because they realized that they had to go against the banks.
Wow.
And when you're going against the banks at the state level, you don't win. You have to have the wherewithal, smarts, and the money to go to the appellate court. Everybody is spouting, you know, Supreme Court cases, but guess what? You got to get to the Supreme Court. You have to know how to write a certiorari. You got to get through the appellate court first. So you're going to lose because the banks are in bed with the courts at the state level. I mean, there's serious games, and when they start turning the screws, we'll see it again. So yeah, I mean, if you're in New York, I mean, what we're doing here. Sorry, Jay. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, the banks will never fail because they can't. The government will never allow it to happen. As you said before, we will have a blackout. It will be game over for this country. The banks will never fail. And that's why they played so loose and risky, because they knew that they'd be bailed out. Because they knew that the government wouldn't let them fail because tens of millions of people would be homeless. Even more. And stop it at that. The ATMs would stop spitting out money. I mean, your credit cards would stop working. If that bailout never happened, we wouldn't be where we are today. We'd be a third world country.
That's right. And
So
right
they
now
know-
with
they
the
know
floodgates, right now with the floodgates at the Southern, man, listen, it's not gonna be a joke. So I mean, it's like a game of musical chairs what we're doing here. It won't always be so easy to do these deals. So we need to do them smart and fast and set ourselves up and help other people who need help.
I'm a firm believer that that time is coming very soon. You know, we talk about it in Eric's group all the time. That time is definitely around the corner. I think we're going to see it soon, and we're going to be able to get these houses for almost nothing, you know, out of pocket. It's going to come.
Yeah. In 2015, I traveled these United States for the first time instead of flying from New York to Hawaii. I traveled by train, coast to coast, by rail. fantastic experience. And you know what I learned? There's a shit ton of space here. Nobody should be, no one should be homeless. It's a hoax. You don't see it when you up, you know, on a,
Well, we need
a
homeless. It's not a hoax.
airline
It's a strategy.
over the clouds. You don't see it. There's a lot of space. I mean, they built a city in the desert that's been thriving. It's called Las Vegas. So yeah, you can figure out the water issues. You can create annexes to cities. You got able-bodied men, ex-military, like myself. There's ways to figure this thing out with engineers, where everybody has a roof.
Yes, but think about what you're
They
saying.
won't do that.
It's not going to happen, because if it does, what gives people motivation to actually go out and do stuff and to work and to build and to grow? Nothing. If you could just be homeless and get a free home, then nobody's going to do it. Same thing with you know, set pay. You know, everyone makes the same amount of money. Nobody's going to thrive to build a business, to become real estate investors. There's going to be no rentals, nothing. So these things do have to happen.
So Jay, so from, I agree, from the standpoint of the motivation of the individual and their mental health and their background, all those things, yes. But systematically, it doesn't work, because they could make more money by squeezing and creating demand.
I agree with that in a sense, yeah.
So
yeah, I agree with it.
I think we need to make it, and we need to figure out how to help those who are willing to help themselves.
It'll never happen.
Building.
The government will never do it. I agree with you, but it'll never happen.
No, not the government. No, on the private. There's the public and the private sector. We're in the private right now.
Okay.
It only takes 2 people to do a JV, right?
Yeah.
Right. So what happens when there's 20, and we get an apartment building?
Yeah, you buy a block.
We get able-bodied people with, you know, passable credit that was willing to work. Create a situation, man. Start creating labor.
I gotta
to be honest with you, that's part of a reason why I'm here. You know, I'd like to build into something. I have the capital. You know, I want somebody who's hungry and willing to, you know, work hard and help me grow something great. You know,
getting denied, boys.
You know, shit. I mean, Eric's story is model. You know what he went through. I mean, we all have our stories.
Yeah.
But you know, once we get rolling, you know, just a earmark for the future. Come together and let's do something beyond what we've done. Let's challenge ourselves all over again and see if we could do it bigger and better. That's all. Just planting the seed.
Good time.
Well said.
I just wanted to say that while Taz was here.
Tez, we appreciate your time stopping by, and it was awesome, dude.
Thank you, man. Thank you, bro. Thank you for being engaged. And yo, Tanner, yo, thank you. Everybody else, I think Bradley, thanks, bro. Who else? Somebody else said something to me. I just want to make sure I acknowledge. Yeah, Bradley. I appreciate you guys, man. Chase Collins. Yes, sir. All right, man. Well, Eric, thank you for the invite, bro.
Yeah, man. Thank you
Thanks
so much for
allowing
being
my
here.
students to come in here and tap into all this wisdom in here. SNRJ, Chris, all you guys, man. Thank y'all so much, dude. I'm gonna jump, and I'll see y'all on the other side.
Thank you so much, Tez.
And thanks to Eric. Thank you, Eric, for having brother come on. That was great.
Absolutely. We'll do it again.
The host,
We'll have you back on soon. I think I still got it. I still got it.
Okay, peace.
Eric,
I didn't want to end the entire call by leaving.
What'd you say, Jason?
Is Tez's email in here so we can get that PDF? I don't see it.
Yes,
I got it if you guys don't.
Okay, yeah, Blaze, if you could send that to me, buddy, or just post it in the meeting chat.
I'll just
Tez, if you want to send that packet to me, I'll just post it in the general chat for all you guys in my group.
That sounds good. That'll be a whole lot easier.
You want me to put it in the resources, Eric?
Yeah, I'll put it in the resources.
I found your emails too, but thank you. Tez, a pleasure. Thanks, buddy.
Hey, no worries. I'll see y'all later.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Good night.
See you.